And we're live. Well, welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I'm the internet icon, the pride of the pilgrims, the most honest man in all of podcasting, handsome Jackie Jones. Along with my right-hand man, my audio soulmate, and the enforcer of the Headyverse.
1-inch biceps, the power goat. How about that, huh?
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
And joining us here, I was talking to him off air. He's a co-author of Lance by Chance, Wrestling as a Von Erich, which is a great read. I have it right up here. And I'm not just saying it's a great read because he's here, because I really enjoyed this book, and we're going to talk all about it. Do you prefer Vinny Berry or Vincent Berry?
Vinny is fine.
It's on the book, Vinny. So
Yep.
It's weird because it's on the book, Vinny, but on Facebook, it's Vincent. You would think you'd have the more like, adult name on the book. I like Vinny, so.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about this book. It's really interesting because I know of Lance Von Erich, obviously. And I didn't see a lot of World Class when I was a kid, but I saw some of it. But he's not a guy like I knew a lot about. And you don't get too much of that nowadays with the shoot interviews and all the podcasts. So to have a book about a guy that's not a lot of information out there, that's pretty rare.
Oh, absolutely. And even when I was talking to him, there was some stuff that I thought I knew, and then he would, no, that's not what happened at all. And I go, wait a second. But this is what everybody thinks happened. He goes, well, that's what everybody thinks happened, but that's not what happened. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of that. And you know what? There's a lot of misconceptions out there. A lot of people thought he only wrestled for a year and a half. And there's a lot of, he had a career that spanned 10 years.
Yeah, I for one didn't know that.
Yeah. But how would we, right? Because he went across the seas and did that. And so I think a lot of people are going to, be intrigued. The fact that, look, a lot of people are going to initially look at it and say, oh, it's a book about Lance Von Erich, and it's this, he's not really a Von Erich, and I would rather read a book about Kevin or something like that, because I say that because that's what people are telling me. Look, this book is more about Lance Von Erich. Would you agree?
Definitely. I loved it. And it's you also I got a glimpse into some of the territories. Like there's a lot of stuff about Portland, and that's not a territory I know a lot about. I know of it, and I know like all kinds of big names that went through it, but I don't think there's a lot of information out there about it, honestly.
Right. And then, yeah, of course. And then he goes into different individuals that worked at World Class too. They go into the details of Gino Hernandez's death, and we go into the details of Mike Von Erich's death and his funeral, and we talk about Kerry's motorcycle accident and his leg amputation or his foot amputation, and so there's a lot of stuff. Well, a lot of stuff happened in that period, in that time period. Yeah. And I think the creation of Lance kind of started, at the death of David Von Erich. Fritz had these kids and these, athletic, good-looking, just popular, good kids, right? I mean, everybody loved them, and he was making hand over fist with these kids, and you need them on a card, and it was like, if they weren't on the card, I'm sure he saw numbers numbers decline. And what concerned him was that, we got to keep the numbers up, and wasn't able to keep all the kids healthy, and so, and there was even a time right before I started watching wrestling that David was on a, he went to Florida and he wrestled as a heel down there. And I think he wrestled in that part of the country. So he was away, and you had Kevin and Kerry only. So I'm sure he saw the effects of that. And then when David came back, golly, he was just so good, right? I mean, I think he was good even before he started. Yeah. There's a match on the Hidden Gems on WWE Network with Harley Race. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that kid's pretty special, and that's his rookie year. So that when they say that David was like they think that David, a lot of people say he was the probably the better wrestler of the bunch. I think he was, so Fritz wanted to keep his numbers up, and I guess after David died, they were thinking that, hey, maybe we should create another Von Erich or get somebody else in. Mike was making his debut in November of '83, and he's very actually small. He was the smaller of all of them. So I don't really know what all Fritz was thinking, except that according to David Manning, they believe that they thought that another Von Erich would help with the revenue of the promotion.
Yeah. Something I always think about is like they get a lot of flack for that for a fake Von Erich. He's not really part of the family, but like that's been part of wrestling forever. Like the Andersons aren't really brothers. The original Von Erichs aren't really brothers. Waldo and Fritz. I think you could go throughout like all kinds of wrestling families. Very few of them, I think, are actually related. So I don't know why the Von Erichs get picked out on for that part, for having a family member that's not really part of the family.
Right, but that's a very interesting point. Yeah, we're still scratching our head over it, right? But you know what? It's not so much as the Von Erichs that are taking the heat for it. It's Lance.
Right, Lance, it's him specifically. It's not the family, like, because it's It wasn't Lance's idea to begin with.
It wasn't Lance's idea. He just said yes.
Right.
Yeah, he just went along with it. But yeah, he said, even the day that he said from one moment to the next when Fritz broke kayfabe, he said, boy, it was like the temperature changed in Dallas, That's
really weird too, because it's like so he's calling out Lance as not being, Fritz Von Erich's calling out Lance as not being a real Von Erich, yet it was his idea to do it. And he's, he's the father of the group. So it's really, he's really calling himself out, but putting all the blame on Lance. If I wonder what people thought, like at the time, like, did they think Lance like infiltrated and then pretended to like tell the family he wasn't really, he was part of them and he wasn't?
It's a good, that's the $1 million question,
if you're just a fan at home, I don't know what you think.
Right. Well, you know what? I lived up there at the time, and I went to, I only went to the Sportatorium a few times because I worked on Friday night, but I mean, I went to all the big cards, and I went to all the Thanksgiving cards and all the Christmas cards and the stadiums and all that good stuff. I saw Kerry win the belt, and when Lance came in, I mean, back then, if you said the sky was blue, it's blue, right? Even in wrestling. And Lance says it in the book, and when he's talking about Billy Jack Haynes, when Billy Jack Haynes gets on that interview and says, oh, we worked out in Florida together. And he was like, none of that stuff was true. But you know what? I learned out that if you said it and believed it, they believed it too. And that was wrestling. And that's, a lot of people believe the fact that he was a cousin because they said he was. A lot of people don't want to admit to it. Oh, I knew all along he wasn't. Well, I don't know. You seem to believe, if you watch back at those tapes, you Google Lance Von Erich on the WWE network. They're mobbing that kid just like they do the other three.
So how did you get in contact with Lance? Was it your idea to do the book? Was it his idea? How did it all come about?
Well, he was always one of those guys that, when I would see him on the internet, it would be like one of those wrestlers, like there's something more about this guy. It was like a lot of questions left on the table for him. And there wasn't a lot of wrestlers that when I would come across or see in a magazine or on the internet, or there weren't too many that would really like get all these, like, spark this mystery, for me except him. And so in 2017, I started a website called wrestleville.com, and I was writing, I write about veteran wrestlers and independent wrestlers, and just something to do because I enjoy doing it, right?
Yeah.
And was talking to referee James Beard from Southwest Entertainment Fury, and Lance would come up from time to time in our conversation, and I said, "Wow, what golly, what a story that would be, and man, I'd love to get in touch with that guy." And we had that conversation like twice, 2 different conversations, and then the second time he was like, "Vinny, this is how you get in touch with him." So I went ahead and I reached out to him, and the next day we were talking on the phone, and I told him what I wanted to do. I wanted to write an article for my website, and he was like, "Why? Why are you?" Thought it was a waste of time, and I was like, "Look, it's not a waste of time." And he goes, "Nobody cares." He goes, "I've been out of the business for 30 years. Nobody cares." And I said, "Dude, I care. And I want to, I care." And so we talked, and he talked to me like a couple times, like maybe two or three times for the article, because like we had something to do. It wasn't like we could devote a lot of time, but he was giving me so much stuff that I couldn't get off the phone with him. Normally I'd write like 1,000-page article, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 20-30 minutes to get it, but I found myself like with 3.5 hours of recording on this guy. And so after I got done with the article, he liked the article, and I said to him, "Hey man, there's a lot left on the table here, and I think you got a really interesting story, and I think you have enough for a book, and if you're ever interested in writing a book, I would like to do that with you." And I think I might have said that to him twice, and the second time he was like, "Write the book."
Yeah.
And so there I was like, well, now I got to write the book. So
Yeah.
that was how it all came about. It took a total of 3 years to get to this point, and maybe 3 years and about 4 or 5 months or something like that, but 3.5 years maybe. And he's really pleased with it. He doesn't hand out a lot of compliments, but I mean, he's very, very, very pleased with how it came out.
Excellent. I loved it myself. When you're writing it, and so it's primarily, from Lance's viewpoint, but there are like David Manning, some quotes in there, and then you have some Gary Hart stuff, like a couple quotes of him. So for people like that, well, Gary Hart's no longer with us. Like, so how much research besides Lance do you have to do when you're putting the book together?
Well, yeah, of course, depending on where the story was going, some of those quotes came from like the triumphs and tragedies, of course, some of the shows, the interviews came from the shows. Mm-hmm. So it was stuff like that I used. Billy Jack's interview came from a show. The Fritz von Erich came from the show. And, I think that stuff was very important to add to the story, because, without that stuff, those quotes or those interviews, you'd really be left with, well, what did he say? Mm-hmm. What did Fritz say, or what did Kerry say? And, I think it helped with that. But I talked to a lot of people I talked to the young bloods on this. I talked to Cowboy Steve Casey. I talked to Dusty Wolf. of course, David Manning. I did reach out to Brian Adidas and Kevin Von Erich. Kevin Von Erich, as you know, did write a paragraph for the book. But that was, that wasn't easy to get from him. He first declined, and then the very first time I called Kevin 3 times and left a message. And then I think after the 3rd day, I texted him, and he texted me I guess later that day, and we texted each other for like 2 hours, talking, and asked him if he wanted to contribute something for the book, and he said that he would rather not. And I was like, okay, very good. And I think a week later, he texted me again and shared something with me, and I guess I replied back to him. I can't remember. And then so about a week later, I just said, hey, I was just curious if you were willing to give me a quote on the back of the book, or for the back of the book. And something along the lines of, you're being not happy about Lance coming aboard, and something along those lines. Anyway, and he said, he sent me what he sent me for the book, and have it right here. If you don't mind, can I read it?
Of course, yeah.
So this is a passage from Kevin Von Erich. It's in the front of the book. My brothers and I had been trying to change wrestling to our style. Kids loved it, and the TV ratings went through the roof. We were really good in the ring, and we were careful with our image. Lance was David Manning's and Dad's idea. I was especially dead set against it, as we never lied to our fans. I know how reporters can get. I knew it would come back to us. Lance looked good, but that was it. He was like a mashed potato sandwich, no pizzazz at all. And it was too big to put on the back of the book. So
yeah.
I stuck it in the front, and I took a sentence or 2 out and put it on the back of the book. And so, yeah, I don't think those, I don't think they're hanging out for Thanksgiving, but
No.
it was
Pasta
nice
mashed
for him.
potatoes would be a weird weird time
But
after that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I won't be able to think about Lance without, or be able to think about mashed potatoes without thinking about Lance. And Lance, when I shared that with him, he didn't want it in the book, and he was like, "Why do you want to put that in the book?" And I told him, I said, "Look, it's important. It's part of the story. It lets Kevin says that he wasn't happy, and I said, you know what? I think it's important that we put it in there, because if we're doing a book on Lance, everyone's going to think that it's just all Lance, and a lot of people think, oh, he's going to be smearing the Von Erichs. Did you feel like it was?
No, definitely not. No, I think it's one thing. It feels like it's very honest. Like it's not. Not like it's like completely praising the Von Erichs by any means, but I think it seems very honest, and it doesn't seem like anyone's trying to smear anybody.
Yeah.
Did you get to read any of it, Insure?
No, I haven't, but I'm definitely wanting to order a copy whenever I get a chance. So it sounds really good.
I will share mine with you, Inchman.
Excellent.
Where can people get it, by the way? We should mention that.
Yeah, definitely.
You can go to lancebychance.com, and all the information is on there, and you can order your book, and I ship them out. And actually, if you can see, this is the factory. This is the factory right here.
Where it all happens.
So And yeah, I've been getting them out. I was, this past when the books came in, I was waiting forever for the books, and then when they came in, work just cranked up, man. I was working 15 hours a day and trying to get them out, and it's a challenge adjusting to doing that, because I've never done it. So, it's a good experience, a good learning experience. I'm learning what to do and what not to do, but it's trial by fire, and but the customers I've been dealing with have been very understanding, and they're wrestling people, man. And there's one thing I do know about wrestling fans is, I've always seen them that have a good heart, and they're good people. So, I'm enjoying this because I'm interacting with a lot of people, talking to a lot of people, meeting guys like you. I've listened to you guys so often, that I recognize your voice, Incher,
Oh,
and
okay.
your name. I feel like I know you, but I know I don't. So
yeah.
Well, now we do. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
But no, I like when you talk about smear, like I just think it's honest because like there's a lot in the book. Really, he's being warned by a lot of people in the business. Like I don't think this is even before they know he's going to be a Von Erich. They're like, you probably shouldn't wrestle in world class because they're going to always push the Von Erichs above everybody else. And then even when some of the people find out, they're like, you're put in a bad position. And obviously he probably wouldn't even got in the business if it wasn't for Fritz. So, Fritz gets him in, but he's honest, it's not some of the warnings were correct. Even though he's a Von Erich, so he's on the show a lot, he's not allowed to outshine the actual Von Erichs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, he pretty much comes in and heels are telling him things like look, you're not going to be on top here. If you're a babyface wrestler, you're not going to be on top. The only way you're going to be on top is if you're a heel, fighting the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
And that's what people had to accept coming in, was that there was a certain height of where you were going to go, because the boys got the top spot, and a lot of people, I would assume they were okay with it because they wrestled there for so long. But look at all the good guys that turned heel.
Right.
Brian Adidas turned heel, and boy, they love that.
I can't think of many like baby faces that were in world class. It's besides Von Erichs that stayed baby face their entire run.
I think Johnny Mantell did.
Okay, but he was also a booker, wasn't he? So.
Oh, that was Ken.
Yeah, okay.
Ken was the booker. But like with Johnny, and Johnny told me this story, was like Johnny was the guy that the bad guys got through, and then
to get to the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
So he always had his spot.
Yeah, he had a spot, and he was obviously okay with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also too, I got to watch the product quite often, so you had a 2-hour show on Saturday night, and in that 2-hour show on Saturday night, you had the television title match, which was a best 2 out of 3, right? Well, Johnny Mantell was in that thing every week,
right?
And obviously Fritz was impressed with his ability to hold that, or to have that spot that he could rely on. Hey, I can count on this guy to go 3 rounds, and some of those matches were long.
Do you know anything about Waldo? Like, did they ever try to? Did Lance have ever any interaction with Waldo?
No.
Did they ever bring him in at all during World Class, like as Fritz's brother?
No, not when I was there, and I was there between 82 and until Lance left.
Mm-hmm. Because I looked up Waldo after after I read the book. I was interested because I don't really. That's obviously before my day, Waldo von Erich. So I was interested in it's there has to be some reason. Like I don't know if they didn't get along in real life, Waldo and Fritz, but you would think at some point, especially when you're bringing in Lance, like you would have him there just even for a couple shows. Like, hey, my son's coming in to help out the family or something.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that because they even brought in Gene Kaninsky one time at a Cotton Bowl match when Kelly Kaninsky was wrestling like in one of the very first matches, like one of the openers. Mm-hmm. And so they brought Gene in for that. And so it would make sense to kind of to play it out, right? Mm-hmm. To take it to the, but what's funny is that Waldo is not Fritz's brother, but
right.
You never hear, never hear anyone.
No one's pissed about that. Yeah,
no one's pissed about that. Yeah. Hey, Waldo's the fake Von Erich too. You never hear that.
Uh-huh.
So it's really it's interesting. I find it very interesting. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Someone asked me, there's talk of, have you heard that there's possibly talk of a Von Erich movie? Have you heard this?
No, actually, no, I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Enter, have you?
No, I haven't heard anything about that, but that sounds like
definitely a family would be interesting to do a movie on.
So there, right before COVID came, I came across an article that there was talk about that. And then when I was interviewing some of the guys, that came up too, and supposedly Kevin had worked on that and or had helped with the script. That's just what I was told. And then I recently came across something that it was either put on hold or I don't know if it died on the vine or what, but my understanding is maybe it might take a little longer to come out and that someone to do something with. But anyway, somebody was telling me that they were like, well, I hope who do you think's going to portray Lance or something like this? I said, do you really think Lance is going to be in that movie? I mean, seriously. I mean, I don't know. I doubt there will be a Lance character in that movie.
Yeah.
People want to erase him from the legacy. And I don't know. I think he has a spot in Texas history wrestling. Listen, I thought he was good. I think he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do too. So were you just a fan of World Class during that time? Like, did you have any connection to World Class in the 80s?
Just I watched it.
Yeah.
And I lived, 10 miles from where they grew up. So, we'd see him at the restaurant or something, or you know what I mean, or my friends would, or hey, I saw Kevin Von Erich pumping gas, or stuff like that. Yeah.
Inchman, you got a there's a bunch here in the chat room. Do you have a question?
Stellar Steven, he wants to know, what does Lance do for work after he was done with wrestling?
When he was done with wrestling, he worked in the resort business. He's managed resorts and hotels all over the world, and pretty much can run the resort business in his sleep.
Oh, okay. Michael Allen Rubin, he wants to know, is Michael Hayes quoted in the book?
A quote from a quote from Triumphs and Tragedies is taken from Michael Hayes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't seem
I did
to
not
be
interview him. I did. I couldn't. I tried to get him, but I couldn't get him.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to be too big on Lance from the documentary.
And Lance is not too big on him.
No. Incher isn't either. So they have something in common.
I don't know the man personally, but I see him on TV, and I'm not that much of a fan of him.
The current Michael, not necessarily Michael Hayes back in the 80s.
But Inter, if you could dress like him, would you?
If I could do that strut, like how he come out the ring and all that, maybe.
Yeah, I think you'd look good in like an orange top hat, bright yellow fedora.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Could be the new you going into 2021. Purely sexy Incher.
Yeah.
I liked all this stuff with Billy Jack because at first I was like, oh, Billy Jack, like he's friends with Billy Jack, and it's nice to see like a different side of Billy Jack. And then we see a glimpse of what people think of Billy Jack later on. Like, oh, right. He's always a little bit out there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was he was a little. I'm not going to give away what happened in the book.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to give away too much of it.
But I will say this. Yeah, he was real appreciative of what Billy did for him. Yeah. Billy did help him. He felt like he learned a lot from Billy when he went up to Portland. Guys like Bobby Jaggers and Billy Jack Haynes spent a lot of time with him. Jerry Gray and Sandy Barr. He credits those four guys of really helping him, because you got to remember, when he comes into the business, he knows nothing about wrestling. And when he was discovered in Dallas, they maybe trained him for a couple 2 months, maybe. Lance didn't think it was for very long. He just thought it was about 2 months spread over a period of time. Yeah. 8 to 10 sessions maybe, and sent them up to Portland. And those guys were really, the road trips and spending time, before the matches started, and, spending time watching the shows together, and they really helped them do it like this. Don't do it like this. Get it, because he was green, Well,
you would think, if you think of like today, even in a guy in NXT has probably wrestled for years before they even go to NXT. A lot of times they're like big, stars in the independent scene, and then they want to retrain them to a certain level in NXT before they go on television, before NXT became, a television show itself. But to think like a guy untrained, he has, maybe a couple months training, and then in like 6 months or so, he's like a tag champ in Portland. Like to think like someone with only 6 months in the business at all today, like, even being on TV is like, that's really rare that someone would do that. Never mind like them putting a belt on him or putting him in like a top position.
Right. That's that's a very good point. And not only, when he went to Portland, Don pushed him too.
Yeah.
Don put the belt on him right before he left. Matter of fact, he was the Pacific Northwest champion when he got the call up to come to Dallas. And then he went back up there, and because he came down in October, I want to say October 6th, 5th, the first week of October, something like that. And he lost the belt like in November. So he was still kind of going back up there, tying up loose ends.
Yeah.
So
I think it speaks to him, and also just, I think actually doing it and being on the road with all the veteran wrestlers, to me, it seems like it's probably the best way to actually become a better wrestler, as opposed to, as good as a training school is, it's not the same as actually being on the road with other wrestlers who have been around for decades and actually working in the ring with them in front of actual, an actual crowd.
Right. And you're going to have to think on the fly and, just figure it out. Right. I mean, I'm sure he had I'm sure a lot of his first matches were very challenging.
Yeah. That's another thing too, is NXT now. I keep bringing up NXT, but it's a national television show, so it's weird because you can't have like if you were on there like without, if you're an actual trainee there, as opposed to like a big name from the indies that's in NXT, like, would you really want like these matches to be televised? Because people would see you, and then their first experience with you is like, oh, this guy's not very good, because you're only been wrestling a couple weeks or a couple months. So that's another good thing about the territories, because he had some matches that weren't necessarily seen on TV or nationwide that everyone get to see before he was ready.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And I think that was one of the reasons why they sent him up to Portland, because there's maybe a little less eyes. Not that Portland wasn't a popular territory.
Right. No, it's definitely big territory. Yeah. I remember Piper always talked about like that being his favorite place, Roddy Piper.
But when you come down to Dallas and you've got the Von Erichs, that thing is, they amp that thing up, and you've got these Von Erich kids that were like rock stars, literally.
Mm-hmm. A little thing about Portland I know, because I was always a Colonel De Beers fan, and I didn't know he had a different character. He was like I forget the name of it, I have in my notes, but he was like a cult leader in Portland.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so I looked him up afterwards, that character, and I was like, I didn't know anything about that. It was interesting.
Yeah, Mega Mariishi.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah,
yeah, I
did not know that. I did not know that either. But
so I'm interested if I could find any video, because I like Colonel De Beers. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was a lot of things that, it was so funny that I was under the impression that Lance was really Ricky Vaughn.
Mm-hmm. Right,
I didn't know, I didn't know that there was no Ricky Vaughn before David Manning discovered him, and it took me a little while when he was telling me that story in the beginning. I was like, okay, now who discovered you? David Manning. I said, yeah, but you were Ricky Vaughn, and you were no. Let's go back. Let me tell you the story again. And he had to tell me, because I was so under this belief of what I thought it was.
You would think, for people who don't know, I know it's in the book, we don't give too much away the book, but you would think if they're going to find a Lance Von Erich, they're going to find an active wrestler. But he finds a guy just really, I thought he looked the part, and then he trains to be a wrestler. Then eventually brings him back to be, once he knows what he's doing, to be Lance Von Erich.
Right. And that's interesting too, is because they needed a Von Erich then, right? Supposedly, obviously, or, I mean, you think when they were like, okay, we need another Von Erich, but we're going to have to wait 6 to 9 months for him. They probably weren't thinking that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
But they liked how this guy looked, like David Manning said, he says, man, I mean, he could pass as a Von Erich relative. You put them side by side, and the hair color and the eye color and the body build, and I mean, who's going to be the wiser?
Yeah.
When he left World Class, like did he do the claw or anything like that? I know he can't use a name, so does he distance like himself as a wrestler, as far as the style goes?
He said, you know what? I think I did ask him about the claw, and I don't think he used the claw. I think he adapted his own style. When we talked about his time in South Africa, he said that he kind of came into his own style, so to speak, because no one was telling him, you can't do this and you can't do that. He was just doing his thing, and he didn't have the pressure of, the Von Erich thing, because you got to remember you brought up a very good point. The thing about, would you want to be, like a new wrestler, would you want to be televised at 6 months or whatever? Can you imagine just how it felt for him to be next to these guys like the Von Erichs and to have that pressure on you to think that, because like these guys were probably wrestling with their dad in the backyard when they were little boys.
It also gives you, I think it gives you a glimpse into Mike and Chris too, because they weren't physically on the level of their brothers, and that they would have similar pressure on them, plus they're really part of the family, so you can kind of see why things didn't go so well for Mike and Chris, and all the pressure that they'd have on them.
Sure, but the difference
and they couldn't just walk away because they're actually part of the family.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think Fritz expected all the boys to wrestle, right? From what I gathered with the boys, the difference between Mike and Chris, as the similarities you pointed out, is maybe not having the huge body build, but Mike didn't want to be a wrestler, and Chris did. Chris wanted to be a wrestler in the worst sort of way, and they were always bringing him in. Me and Chris were the same age. I think he might even be a year older than me. I looked him up one time. So, he was like, when I was 14 or 15, he was too. And I remember, they brought him in at the Texas Stadium. He was there. That was, I think, the first time when Kerry won the world title. He was there and in the ring, held up the belt and stuff. And then maybe, what was it, a year later or so, Gino was still alive. So Gino, it had to be in 85. Well, it was October 85. And they brought Chris in, and he was shaving the hair. It was the same day they brought in Lance Von Erich. So they tried to include him when they could, on little bits and stuff like that, which, I'm sure he liked. But, even when he started professional wrestling, I got to see him a little bit on television, and he was dwarfed by everybody. I mean, it was just, he really did look like a young boy compared to the big wrestlers.
Yeah. And I also want to point out, for people who like, road stories and some of the seedier sides of wrestling, and some of the rat stories and stuff, you got some of that in the book. So there's lots of different things for everybody in there.
Sure. You know what? There were some stories that I thought were a little distasteful. And I talked to my wife, and I talked to a close friend of mine, and I asked, what they thought about the stories, and of course they read them, and my wife was like, look, don't change history, and
that is part of the wrestling business at the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part, especially world class, because there's so many young people. And so when you have all those young people and they're, become rock stars basically at such a young age, women and which, was a downfall on the women, and drugs and partying was a big part of your lifestyle at that point.
Yeah. And, like what and that was, since you read the book and you there's a theme, as you could see, is that, is a pretty destructive business too.
Yeah.
As you could see, and things do tie into other, as he gets to the end of the book, he starts sharing, of all the people he worked with. When we were doing the interview, he'd say, well, I remember a time I was with this guy. He goes, who is dead? And we were wrestling these two guys who are dead. And then I was wrestling this guy who was dead. And it was like, all these guys are dead.
Yeah.
If you go back, and a lot of those guys, a lot of them died young. And, so there is a theme in the book. I didn't want to, I wanted to be honest with it. I wanted to be honest with what it is. I have a friend that's a pastor that wanted to read the book, and I said, look, man, it's not about altar boys, dude. You know.
Yeah.
And he says, I know it's not. You know. And you know, I said it's a little adulty. You know, not X-rated by any means, but
Sure.
there's adult content in it. And he said, yeah, I understand. You know, and you know, but again, you know, when I was talking to my wife and telling my wife, you know, what do you think? And, you know, using her as my sounding board, you know, her thing was, you know, you need to be honest in telling his story. So.
Yep. Is there any more questions, Inchman, that you want to mention from the
Michael has another question. He wants to know, does Kevin have personal differences with Lance, or is it professional? Kevin Von Erich, yeah.
Yeah. I can't speak for Kevin, honestly. I can't speak for Kevin. I don't know, for it might
I think
way,
it would be hard to take away, since it's the family business. So anything he'd have would be personal, not necessarily against like Lance as a person, but you know, it's his family business. So I think it would have to be personal on some level, as opposed not necessarily against a guy, but just the idea of him, you know, being there.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with what you said, but yeah, I can't speak for him, but I mean, yeah, it might be. I don't know. I mean, it kind of feels that way, but again, I can't speak for him. You know, only he can answer that question.
I do want to mention Kevin and Eric, though, when you were talking about Lance, you know, mentioning all the people that passed away. And I always thought that was one of the most emotional parts of, I forget which documentaries, because they put out two documentaries around the same time, the one by WWE and then the independent world-class documentary. And when Kevin says, you know, I used to have like, I think 5 brothers, and now I'm an only child, I have no brothers. I'm an only child. And I was like, that was like really emotional. Like, you know, all his brothers are gone.
You know, let me share something with you. You know, living up there in North Texas, and when I say that these guys were loved, I am, you know, there was an estimated 3,500 people went to David Von Erich's funeral. You know, and when these people, like when David died, and Mike committed suicide, and even Chino, you know, and Chino was the biggest heel of that promotion at that time. You know, people felt that stuff. You know, people were really sad. I mean, not, you know, I mean, yes, they were super duper. I mean, it felt like when something happened to the Von Erichs, it was like something happened to your family. I mean, these people, you know, you would think that these people, everybody knew them personally. Of course, we didn't know them personally. We watched them every week, you know, and saw them on TV all the time. And like I said, we might have run into them, but we weren't spending any personal time with them. You know, I've probably spent more with you two, you know, in this last hour than I have with those guys my entire life in person, you know, and I've run into them, but never spent this much time with them. And so, but, you know, they were a household name to the non-wrestling fan. And boy, I'll tell you, like, my parents weren't wrestling fans, and I was the only wrestling fan in a household of 5. Okay, so you know, is it over yet? Can I have the TV? I want to watch this. And you know, we only had one TV for a while, and so. But boy, I tell you, when one of those boys passed away, man, my parents mourned. My sister mourned. We all mourned, you know. And so I'm telling you, it was something special. I was talking to someone the other day. I said, you know, I've seen popular wrestlers, but nothing like that. And dude, they were just so huge and loved. And it's just, it was just heartbreaking, you know.
I have the pictures you sent me if you want to go through some of them.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's just get them loaded here. All right, here we go.
Yeah, excellent.
think. Just give me 1 second here.
Okay.
All right. Here.
And I'm kind of looking for something too. I was gonna see if I could
Here's
find some.
the cover of the book, obviously.
Right, that's the cover of the book, and
So here's Lance.
this is when he was wrestling up in Portland. This is a picture actually from Tacoma. But if you notice, and I don't know, I don't think you can see because on my screen I see like little pictures down at the bottom.
Right.
But he's barefooted in there, and that's a very interesting picture because he is barefooted before he, he came down to Dallas and he had boots on, and then he came to or in Portland he wrestled bootless as well. So and I talked to him about that because when he came down to Dallas and he worked with some boots on and then he went barefooted, I automatically thought, hey, he must be doing it because Kevin's doing it.
Right.
And what I found out was that he didn't like wearing boots because it took too long to lace them. And he thought it was a waste of time. And so he got these boots with the zippers on them, and they never held up. They broke within a week or two. So he decided to go footless or bootless.
Yeah.
And like I said, he did this pre-world class. So that was something very interesting that I found out doing this.
All right, Lance again here. So this
Yeah,
is when he was Ricky Vaughn. Both these
Right.
pictures.
Yeah, these two are, and this is with the Pacific Northwest title. Matter of fact, this is the title that he held while he got the call to go to world class.
Mm-hmm.
So I put this picture in here. This is David Von Erich. Going back to the story and everything, and we had David Von Erich not die, there's a good chance that we probably wouldn't be talking about Lance. He was really an integral part. I don't think they brought Lance in so much to replace David, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they brought Lance in because they needed Von Erich name on the card, and they needed somebody to continue drawing fans, and that was the reason why they brought him in. Ric Flair.
Not to interrupt you, but it's an interesting part in the book, and not to get, like you said, not to talk, all the stories in the book, but the idea of them running multiple shows a day, and to do that, you need a guy to main event each show. And when you have, several of the brothers, you can do that, but then you physically need more numbers of brothers to run multiple shows, a day.
Oh, absolutely. And also too, you got to understand how big Texas is. I mean,
I've been to Texas a couple times, and when I went there, because we were in Dallas and we were going to go see the wherever they filmed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we realized it was 4-hour drive one way. There'll be another 4-hour drive back. But Texas itself is like multiple states.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, if you got to go if you're driving from New Mexico to Arkansas. Pack a lunch, bro. Pack a lunch.
So sorry to interrupt what you were saying about Flair and David.
Yeah. So supposedly also too, there was a lot of talk that David was going to be the NWA champion, and that's mentioned in the book. And Flair has a chapter in the book as well, and Lance has a pretty interesting story that he met Ric Flair when he wrestled in Portland, and then when he came down to Dallas and saw Ric Flair the second time, that was when Lance Von Erich was wrestling him for the NWA title. It was his title match, and he was taken back by, just everything that Rick had remembered from the night in Portland. You know what I mean? And so, that's an interesting chapter in the book, I think. And, he talks about his interactions with Rick and his thoughts on Rick. And I think it's a nice touch for the book.
Yeah, I love that stuff with Rick. And I think it really, it's that part's about Lance, but I think it's really a glimpse of why Rick was such a great champion and why he lasted so long and could work with anybody. Because to do that, you'd have to pay attention to everybody, when you're traveling around, in case you ended up working with them at some point.
Sure. And I think what the book does too, not only does it like highlight certain people in the business like Ric Flair and, Billy Jack Haynes, and, you get a inside look at Steve Simpson and these guys, Kerry Von Erich and stuff. But it also talks about how the business was run back then,
mm-hmm.
and how the territories worked and how the champions worked. And I think people would be pretty surprised. I was Chris Youngblood read the book and sent me a message and said, or I think he posted it in a comment on Facebook. It said, what a great insight on how professional wrestling was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So what a compliment that was.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the Freebirds.
There he is.
Yeah. What a, that right there was like, that was huge. And we start the book off with that match, or with that feud, because when David Von Erich died, they had two Von Erichs, and they had 3 Freebirds. Of course, Mike had just made his debut. He was probably wrestling about 5 months or so, maybe less than that, when David died. He made his debut in November of '83, and David died in February of '84. So he'd only been wrestling 3 months. And because they taped television for 8 months, or they wrote for television for 8 months, I didn't know that. 8 months of TV in advance. That's what they were writing for back then. So, that's why they wanted another Von Erich. And what happened was, as they're training Lance, somewhere down the road in September of '85, was it October or September of '85, they take their first tour to Israel. And that's when he suffered that severe shoulder injury that they needed to operate on, and he contracted toxic shock syndrome. And so that's why Lance got the phone call then, and they brought him down there. And Lance will even admit that, when he did get the phone call, he wasn't ready to go to wrestle with the Von Erichs.
6-man tag champs, I believe.
Say it one more time, sir. Yes.
6-man tag champs.
Yes, that was, I believe, their first reign together, when I think they held the titles on 2 occasions. But yes, this is the only picture that I could find, that I could come across, with Lance with the Von Erich brothers. It wasn't an easy task.
Interesting.
But yeah, those are the 6-man tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is Kerry Von Erich and their younger brother Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And not really sure what the year is on this. I was told it was 90 or 91.
Mm-hmm. People have said, and I do see it, that there's a similarity facial to Incher and Chris.
A little bit. I
Yep.
see it. I do see it.
I need a wig.
Too.
Yeah.
So this is in South Africa. This is Lance with Dusty Wolf. Dusty Wolf is mentioned in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they met in Texas, but Dusty Wolf had a long time career as an enhancement talent in the WWF.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's the same Dusty Wolf because I talk to him sometimes on Facebook. And so when I was reading it, I was thinking that's the only Dusty Wolf I know in wrestling, but I wasn't sure if it was the same guy.
Yeah, and what's interesting that why he was up there, he met somebody that was promoting in South Africa and asked him if he wanted to go make some extra money, and he said sure. And so he went down there and ended up making some connections and picked up the book himself. And so that was his working relationship with Lance. And when he came down there, and then I guess he discovered Lance was down there, and him and Lance were friends from Dallas, so he used him quite a bit on the card.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I'm gonna try to get Dusty on the show sometime. See if he's interested.
I think he'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Cover the book again. By the way, is this one of the because you talk about Lance talks about making pictures to sell, and he's doing stuff that he thinks like the young fans would like. So he's got ones with animals, and he's got a gun with a machine gun. So is that one of the pictures from that, or is this from a movie?
That is one that he turned into. Yeah, that was taken on a movie set, but he brought that back and sold that at the arenas.
Yeah. Kind of ahead of its time. Actually, Von Erich, World Class was ahead of its time a little bit. We're on a lot of things, but selling merchandise is one of them.
This is him in South Africa, and this is Dusty Wolf again with longer hair and blonder hair.
That's a great shot. Well, there you can see the bare feet.
And yeah, there's bare feet, but that is Dusty Wolf again, right there. Dusty Wolf is in a couple of these, but you wouldn't know it's Dusty Wolf unless you know it's Dusty Wolf,
right?
Because it's like the back of his head, or he's side profile, or
It's almost a doomsday device there.
Oh yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, and Dusty was integral. He helped on the book quite a bit. He had a lot of information. Yeah, he was good.
Seems like a really good guy, the bit I've talked to him on Facebook.
Sure. Hey, have you ever talked to Jeff Bearden?
No.
Jeff Bearden, with the Giant Warrior, who's in the book, was very helpful with the book as well. Very, very nice guy.
Chris Adams.
Here's Chris Adams, and I wanted to, if I could, can I read something from?
The book? Definitely. Yep.
Okay, so this is from chapter 13 of Chris Adams. On that particular evening, I was in the lobby of my hotel having a couple of drinks after our earlier show. I was told Chris had an altercation with one of the hotel employees. I assumed Chris had been drinking because it was nighttime and it was common for him to become aggressive under the influence of alcohol. The incident started after Chris tried to make a phone call to the United States in hopes of speaking to his wife, Tony. The call had troubles going through, and the person at the front desk didn't help Chris to his satisfaction. Chris became so infuriated that he went down to the lobby to handle the problem in person. While in the lobby, Chris approached the bartender to explain the issue he was having with the phone. Even after that, Chris still wasn't satisfied, so he super kicked the man in the face. The force of Chris's kick knocked the bartender's eye out, and it ruptured. As popular as the world-class wrestlers were in Israel, it was clear to those who witnessed the incident that it was Chris Adams who kicked the guy in the lobby. Chris's victim was taken to the hospital, but even worse, he belonged to a tribe that believed an eye for an eye. The group wanted to find Chris, and they wanted revenge. And they had to get Chris out of the country that night. And there was a serious manhunt for him. So
there was some crazy stuff on a plane too in the book.
And there was crazy stuff on the plane in the book. And we'll save that one for the readers.
Yeah.
But those are some of the stories, and and it talks about how Lance struggles with some things. Lance struggles with some things. It's not just he come in, and of course he did his share of steroids, but he never did anything else in the he wasn't big into drugs and things like that, but he found himself drinking a lot, and he found himself liking Demerol and pain medicine and stuff like that. You got to remember, those guys are they're wrestling as much as they were, despite of what people think what wrestling is. It takes a toll on your body, and these guys were wrestling a lot and
especially when you're doing multiple matches, a day, and travel.
Sure.
So much travel. And Stellar Stevens says, I think Matt Riddle could pull off Von Erich.
If they made a new movie. Yeah,
I guess because he wrestles barefoot.
That's true.
Besides that, I don't know. I think he's about the only guy in modern day I could think of that does wrestle barefoot.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. But that's from his background.
Yeah.
Someone asked you about earlier up here about to ask you about booking MMA. Is that something you've done?
That is something I've done.
All right.
Yeah. So when I moved down here to South Texas, the boxing and MMA scene was like really strong. We had like 5 or 6 matches a year, of one or the other. And I ran into some guys that wrote and had some websites. I ended up writing for a boxing and MMA website, worked for that guy for about a year, and he got super busy and he kind of closed it. The next day, somebody called me up and said, "Hey, did you hear so-and-so closed his website?" I said, "Yeah, I just got done talking to him." And he goes, "Well, let's open another one." The next day we had a website, within, we started working on it like within days. We're just starting to post stuff, and we did that. I did that for about a year, and then I took a break from that and got a phone call from another promoter out of the blue, wanted me to write for his website, and just asked me what it was gonna cost to get me on his payroll. And at the time, I went to my wife and said, "Hey, what do you think I should tell this guy I'm willing to work for?" She goes, "Well," she says, "you were willing to work for these other 2 guys for 2 years for nothing. So anything you tell him, it's going to be better than that.
It's going to be a bonus." Yeah.
So
it's a race.
Yeah. So, I said yes and gave him a number, and he said yes, and went ahead and do that. And here's the interest in how I became the matchmaker, because, dude, boxing would, of the 2 sports, boxing is my sport.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to say, "Hey, where's your comfort zone?"
Mm-hmm.
I would say, well, I know a little bit about boxing because I did some amateur boxing. But boy, when it came to MMA, I had to really study that. And what happened was, how I became the matchmaker, me and the promoter became pretty good friends, and he would call me and say, "Hey, so-and-so got hurt in training, so we lost the challenger for the title," and I'd say, "Okay, why don't you call this guy?" And he'd say, "Well, who's that guy?" And I go, "That guy's number 4 in the state."
Mm-hmm.
As far as middleweights go. Or he'd say, there always be, I don't know what you guys know about MMA, but dude, the card falls apart the last week. It does. It's you pull your hair out, and I'm trying to work a full-time job, and I'm getting phone calls at work, like so-and-so pulled out of the fight, or this happened, or that happened, or so-and-so broke his hand, and somebody dehydrated, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what do you want me to do? Well, find somebody else. It's like, dude, it's Tuesday before the Friday, it's, but that's what we do. And so, yeah, I was, and I you know what, I was pretty pleased with some of the fights that I came up with, some of the cards. I think I did about 2 or 3 cards for him, fully on my own. There was a time where, it's a collaboration, I mean, somebody, the promoter bringing a guy or out, but setting up all that stuff and doing all the medicals, and oh my gosh, I tell you this, I'm glad I did it. It would have been nothing I ever would have picked. I would have never, I want to be a matchmaker. It fell in my lap and I learned how to do it. But I'll be honest, dude, I don't really miss it. I don't really miss it.
Yeah. Would you do another wrestling book?
I would do another wrestling book. And I would really like to continue writing, no matter what it is. But yeah, I enjoy wrestling. I really feel like, that like this was the book that I was meant to write. I grew up in that area. I grew up on that wrestling. I loved those guys. I loved all those guys, and always had an interest in this story. And it's kind of weird how, I remember when I saw Lance for the first time in person was at that Thanksgiving when he wrestled Killer Tim Brooks. He came out in that gold jacket and everything. Thinking back, I would have never thought that, 30 years later, that I'd be writing a book about that guy.
Yeah.
It would never have crossed my mind.
That's very cool. David Manning has he talks about, which I found interesting. You put it on Facebook too. It's like the idea that if Kerry would have been open about the foot amputation, it really would have just got him more over with because you'd have the empathy with the fans, and you also would tell the story of like this comeback. And that's something I really never thought about, but I think he's right there.
Yeah, well, for a long time, nobody knew that he had.
Yeah, I didn't even know until I was online, probably in the early 2000s.
I think if you go back and you watch his work now, like, you can kind of see him compensate for it. Right. But back then, it was pretty much kept under the radar, and yeah, I think he has a very good point. It's like say, for example, well, anybody that has a disability like that and can overcome, I mean, we just love those stories, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I was always surprised they never did. I don't know why they never did it with Sid after he did the horrible leg break in WCW. WWE owned the footage. Even if you didn't bring him back, for years, if you could have at least brought him back, showed that the footage, showed that, for years he's like recovering and he makes a comeback, you could at least got one big match out of it. One big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right.
Not now is a little, but in the early 2000s you could have done it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just, but I also understand the idea of not wanting people to know about it. So it's a weird position to be in.
Right.
As far as Kerry goes. So Lance, by chance, when did you decide on the name?
You know what? Somewhere in the middle of writing it. Because I think it's fitting, for one, because again, he wouldn't have been a wrestler had he not run into David Manning. I've had a couple friends, that had told me that I needed to call it non-Erich, and things like that. But that's kind of already played out on the internet.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought Lance by Chance was catchy, and I thought it was fitting for the title. Again, this was nothing that he set out to do. It wasn't like, You know, he was a little boy dreaming to be a pro wrestler, and that was the farthest thing from his mind, you know. And he probably, you know, had it not been for the I guess his mother, and he would have never would have been a been a been a bodybuilder. I'm going to read something from chapter 1. One summer, my parents went off to travel in Europe, so I stayed with my maternal grandmother for a couple of weeks. I got along well with my grandma, and I remember we talked about a wide range of topics. She kept a shotgun by the front door and was more than happy to point it at someone if she felt the need. My grandma fed me very well while I stayed with her, and I ate whatever I wanted. Since I was spending time with her, my usual activities of exercise were just put on hold. In the short time I was at her house, I gained 30 pounds. I remember the day my parents returned from their trip. I greeted them when they walked into my grandmother's house. Upon entering, my parents stopped immediately and stared at me. I recognized the look on my mother's face. I associated it with when she caught me doing something I wasn't supposed to. I could tell my mother was upset. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad," I said. "Kevin," my mother replied. "How was your trip?" I asked. Tears immediately rolled down my mother's cheek. "Kevin, what happened to you?" she exclaimed. "What's wrong, Mom?" I questioned. "Mom, what happened to him? What happened to Kevin? He's gained weight," she blurted to my grandmother. "He's a growing boy. Leave him alone," Grandma replied. At that moment, my mother put me on a more strict diet. And when she got back home, she put locks on all the cabinets and kept me from getting to the food. There was no eating between meals. I was really pissed off at my mom because I felt like she had gone too far. My mother also made me start going to the gym. She would drop me off and pick me up 2 hours later every day. If she knew that I went to the grocery store, she'd check the receipt to see what I bought. My mother did this until I moved out of the house. Her obsession with my weight was absurd, but she was right about me needing to do something about it. So at 15 years old, I pretty much became a regular at the fitness center. By the time I was 17, I was 220 pounds and built like a tank. The days of being overweight were behind me. And so.
And I read she had him on the Atkins diet, which, everyone knows now, but I don't think that was really well known at the time.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, that's what he called it. Yeah. I didn't know if it was really known at that time either. So
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and this is cool little story. Like I said, I don't give too much away. A little cheat. He knew how to get extra candy bars out of the vending machine, and it really is this his life story. So this I like that. I love reading the wrestling stories, but it's nice to read where people come from.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, and again, when you read the book, and then when you reflect on the book, you do kind of see a theme throughout the book of, like, again, some of the things that he does. He talks about being an extremist, whether it was good for me or not,
There's temptation, even as your temptation as a kid to eat, some Snickers, and there's different temptations when you get into wrestling.
Sure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and this has been really cool. I'm glad you came on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to be on the show. I never thought that I would be on this show.
That's why you wrote the book, huh, I was kidding.
Yeah. that was it, man. You found me out. But I do want to say that I appreciate what you guys do for wrestling. And you keep the stories out there, and you have people like me or people in the business come on. Because when I first discovered your show and I was going down the list and seeing who you had on there, I just couldn't believe that there was a show like this. That there's a lot of people that I grew up watching. I think I saw oh my gosh, I just can't remember all the names when I first discovered you. But I was impressed. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And like,
Yeah.
reading stories in there, like, it's sad to think about. It's also, makes us proud that we had, Gary Hart on the show, Paul Bearer several times. And like you said, it's part of their story then is out there forever. It's immortalized.
I want to share something with you that someone said to me today. And if it sounds like I'm bragging, it might be that. But somebody said to me, he said, your book and Gary Hart's book is the most honest thing or most honest books that they have read about the world-class promotion.
Interesting.
And what a compliment that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that we wanted it to be honest. We wanted it to be, look, I didn't want it to be, a tell-all book. And I didn't want it to be, but I wanted it to be honest. And I wanted it to capture what the promotion was. And the promotion was that, there was a lot of steroids back there. There was a lot of drugs back there. There was a lot of people that died young back there, So it tells that story. And, I just think if you do love wrestling, I think you will, enjoy this book. It's funny how Lance thinks that by Fritz von Erich breaking kayfabe, he thought it really did affect Fritz's business at World Class in Dallas. And then years later, he runs into Eddie Mansfield, who broke kayfabe when Lance was breaking into the business. And, he had thoughts on that, of the similarities and the things that he saw Fritz experience some of the same things that Eddie did because of breaking kayfabe, and he kind of saw the the repercussions of that, and so he talks about that. I thought that was very interesting. That here's this guy that what are your odds of running into Eddie Mansfield? How ironic that he would run into Eddie Mansfield.
Yeah.
I just thought
that's the most notorious exposés of the business, Eddie Mansfield.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's weird to think about because, if you're a modern fan and you don't go back a long way, to think like it being a big deal to do that, because everyone talks about everyone's pretty much open about the business today, but to think how important it was, back then not to.
Right.
Not to expose the business. Because if someone did the same thing Eddie Mansfield did today, like it wouldn't even be news.
Sure.
Or really the Lance thing. If Vince McMahon went on TV and said Kane isn't really Undertaker's brother, like that no one would be like, oh my God, that I can't believe it. But no one would care today.
You are probably absolutely right.
If we found out Jeff wasn't Matt Hardy's brother, it'd be a little weirder, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
There would be an uproar.
Yeah. Well, I really dug the book, and I hope people check it out. And not just because you're on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. And I just encourage people go to www.lancebychance.com. Please check out the book. And, everybody who I've talked to, because people are getting their books. And I can't tell you how many people that I've told me that they've binge read this book in a day or two. But
I was one of them, so yeah.
Is you're one of them? I talked to a guy last night. He texted me, goes, I got the book. And I said, oh, good. Did you start reading it? And he goes, no, I'm going to read it after the football game. So we watched the Monday night football game. And then he texts me at 11 o'clock this morning and says, yeah, I'm done, dude. I read it all the way through. And he said he couldn't put it down. But I've heard that many times. And what a good feeling that is. So please, go to www.lancebychance.com. You can email me there if you have any questions about the site or troubles ordering the book or questions about when your book's coming. Email me. I answer all my emails. Also, too, you can read my stories on russellville.com. It has been a little while since I've updated the site, but I have an archive up there. I do plan to put some more stories on there, but I have been finishing this thing up, and I made a commitment to myself this year that the book was going to be printed before Christmas, and I got that goal done, and I was glad to do it. But I think if I didn't do it when I did, I think we'd still be working on it, and it was just one of those things that it was time to turn it in and be done with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good. Well, this was great. We'll do it again sometime.
I would love to do it. I had a great conversation with you guys. I really enjoyed it. And please, man, reach out to me again. I'd love to do your show.
All right. Excellent. Thanks.
All right.
And, have a great Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Be safe, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Excellent.
All right.
That was good.
Yeah, it was very good. Excellent. I really recommend the book.
Yeah, I'm definitely wanting to go over to Lance by Chance and get me a copy.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good. I was really happy. I loved her. I like wrestling books anyway. But when you get to read one about a guy you don't know a lot about, and there's not really a lot of stories out there about, and it's from his perspective, it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like one of those stones that hasn't been turned over in the wrestling business because we haven't heard his side of this.
Yeah,
so.
It does. I'm glad we've been doing some interviews again because I don't know. You look back at all the people we did interview, and they're no longer with us. And I know there's so many podcasts out there now that have interviews.
Yeah,
but they're not in your head.
That's right.
Face it. So I'm wearing my new Jericho shirt I got earlier today.
Oh yeah,
the
Jericho.
Demo God.
Excellent.
It was in my Pro Wrestling crate.
He was in Las Vegas last week.
He was. This was very fun. I had a good time with this.
So was that Hornswoggle screaming at the end?
It was. It was Hornswoggle in a diaper.
Hornswoggle, and then they had a problem. So we were not sure what exactly happened there, but
yeah, he's just like that was a play off of the Hangover when there's a baby there. He was the baby.
Oh, I see.
I found this fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, the segments before where they were at the casino and then getting drunk and everything, and Sammy Guevara just looks.
I like when Sammy pulls out the knife. He's like, "Yeah, let's be blood brothers. Let's do it." He's like,
"Yeah."
He's like, "Oh, don't be cruel, Sammy. Don't be cruel." Sammy.
Yeah,
I liked. I like Elvis being part of the inner circle.
Not the best Elvis personator, but I think that's kind of
makes
part
it
of
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Part of the charm of it. It just like maybe they just got some guy just to be Elvis and just said, "You're Elvis," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm
Elvis." So many views here in the chat. He said Swoggle on TNA as AJ tonight plus AEW last week. Dude's getting paid. Yeah, it is funny how he pops up. He just pops up on all the shows at various times.
Can't blame him.
He's a nice guy, though. We've had him on the show a bunch of times.
Yeah. When we had him on, he was a really good interview.
Yeah, I met him in Chicago.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like the WrestleCast or whatever that was.
Yeah. He was only there briefly because I think he was wrestling that night somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I went up and said hello and told him because we had just had him on the show right before that.
Yeah,
he seemed like a nice guy. He didn't kick me or anything.
No, that would be bad if he did.
Yeah. Well, I thought AEW was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff was fun.
Fun
I don't.
show.
There was some stuff. Because I went over the show last week, but I can't remember. But like, I remember there's some stuff I wasn't like, I didn't think was tremendous. But overall, I enjoyed the show.
So when is Shaq actually going to show up? If he's going to show up, was that some of the stuff you weren't too crazy about?
See, I actually missed the that part. I was getting like a coffee or something, but I guess they tried to break Brandy's arm or something.
Yeah, they're like the one girl was beating down on her and everything, and they stopped her. And then she had Nia Jax and not Nia Jax.
You saw Steven and it
Nyla
popped in your
Rose.
mind Nia Jax, Powerbomb, and Lana through tables because
Flashbacks
Steven
from
is the
last
biggest
week.
fan of that. Yeah. He's
So
a big Lana being chokeslammed through the table mark.
And she's getting choke slammed now, and like she's like depressed or something on her special that she had on
I didn't watch it.
WWE.
Nothing against Lana, but like, do I really want
Yeah.
to? It's so weird because they portray her as like a goober on the show, and then they make a documentary about her. It's like, isn't that weird? Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't even get in the match at Survivor Series, but there's a documentary about this person.
She was.
Like, why
the
would you
sole
want to watch
survivor,
that?
though.
Yeah. This is a really weird push for a baby face because it's like that's something they used to do back in the day with like, a real goof. Like that was something they would have done like Dangerous Danny Davis or Bobby the Brain Heenan, but not like a baby face. Like you're supposed to cheer that she won without even getting in the ring. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, it is strange, but I guess just because they're being so mean to her and saying, no, you're not even allowed in this match. You're supposed to feel good for her because she ended up winning the match.
But she never portrays her. It's so weird. So they show all this stuff that you're supposed to feel bad for, like you said. And then she comes out with the giant smile and like acting like, like she's like she acts like a heel. She comes out like, look at me, and even her music and stuff, and like it's just bad. It's just bad storytelling. Do you love it? Are you loving it, Injure? You throwing babies in the air?
Well, I mean,
shooting the guns.
Any occasion you got to throw babies in the air.
I gotta get a baby, like not a real baby, like a doll, and
like a hornswoggle.
Yeah, well, no, not a living person, like a doll that I could throw in the air during the show. Nothing I really get excited about, and I'll just throw a baby in the air.
Steven's got something. He's going to go get something. I don't know. He put his finger in the air, and he's like, I have something for
I'm
this.
wearing this for the holidays, isn't you? What do you think?
Yeah, it works.
Pretty
What
rocking.
happened to your turkey hat, though?
I couldn't find it. I want to wear it this week, though.
I see. I
don't know where it is. Sorry to make you depressed.
Yeah.
I like the shirt. It also came with who else was there? I don't know. But anyway, Pro Wrestling Crate. It's very fun. It's like $20. You get 2 shirts, a micro brawler, an autograph, a pin, and then a few other things every month. It's really fun. If you buy one shirt, it costs you more than that.
Yeah.
The autograph was Britt Baker, so that was fun. Latino Heat
good.
Eddie Guerrero pin. Pretty sweet. Coco Beware, the Birdman, was the figure. Get it together, baby. Yeah. I do have some sad news before we get to the callers.
Oh, yeah.
Last week, I've had a lot of people message saying they were dying laughing. Not laughing, they were just in love. They were like, man, this is such vocals. And they loved the whole performance by everyone here. The Survivor the series of Survivor. But unfortunately, some people who did the music originally before I perfected it,
Yeah.
they were like, God, that's my stuff. And so they flagged the In Your Head episode.
They did.
Mm-hmm. So there's ads on that show now, but they go to that band. So the long story short is, in the future episodes, we can no longer do musical performances like that. I know you're very upset, man. Unless somebody out there
Broken.
sends me some original music to sing to.
I hear you.
Now that would see, I could see Intro was getting all sad now. Now that frown is starting to turn upside down. He's got a glimmer of hope in his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Hey, you got some.
This is my happy face.
Exactly. You're a happy man, Intro. It's good to see you, Chris Von Erich. Was that your Chris Von Erich face?
I was trying to do the same face that he had in that picture. But...
I like it.
So making a movie, I mean,
there you go. Yeah.
Here I am. I'm ready, Hollywood.
Movie star. There's a guy who owns a convenience store I stop at. He gives me a free coffee and a free $1 scratch ticket every time I go. And anyway, one time I ended up telling him, I was in Hollywood making the movie. And so anyway, after he calls me movie star, and he goes, movie star. He's an Indian fellow, so his English isn't perfect. But anyway, the other day I was in there. He liked my hit when I first cut my hair. And he's like, movie star. He's like, you get all the Hollywood girlfriends now.
Yeah.
I like the haircut. The other day I went in there and he goes, my buddy. I was like, what? He said, where's all the Hollywood girlfriends? So yeah, the pandemic's really cutting into my Hollywood girlfriend time.
Yeah, it's cutting into a lot of times. Cutting into my flea market time. No flea markets.
I saw someone. Oh, John Lydon from the Sex Pistols.
Mm-hmm.
He said his balls were bitten by fleas.
Oh,
because he started keeping squirrels as pets. Then he got a bunch of fleas that bit his ball sack. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I mean,
you can't really get a collar for a squirrel, can you? Like a flea collar?
Mm-hmm. Seemed like a strange story, but
yeah, he may have made it up.
Probably, lying bastard.
He could be wrong. He could be right.
Could be black. Could be white.
Mm-hmm.
Public Image Limited.
We better stop.
We don't want Lydon after us.
Exactly. He'll take us to Judge Judy.
You saw that episode?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
I've seen it.
Yeah. It was kind of like you kind of expected him to be going crazy, but he kind of just went through the whole process, He was just like, okay.
Was it Judge Judy or was it People's Court?
I think it was Judge.
Oh, it was Judge Judy.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of smudger on your camera there, my boy, my man, my pal, Mighty Lexar.
Oh, it looks clean to me.
Looks pretty smudgy to me. What do you think, Incher?
Just on the edge where your eye is, on
your face. The other end, this bottom end here, your bottom right or whatever.
Just leave it there. I'm tired of cleaning everything.
Man.
He's no longer cleaning for the show.
Attitude here. I say clean it up. We want to see that pristine, sharp face.
Jim Sharp-faced.
Man, he's getting angry. You think he's going to attack me or something?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, you had a bad week or something? You seem kind of mad. You seem pissed. Was your mom making you clean up the house for Thanksgiving?
No, but she's gonna cook Thanksgiving dinner for the first time in a couple of years. So
Really? So
Oh, yeah?
normally do you cook or you just don't have?
I don't. So I just watch the WWE Network for the whole day. She does all the cooking. She likes to cook, so
Well,
she
what happened
cooked.
last couple of years? Who cooked?
We went out to this restaurant before her mom's friend
KFC?
decided to like go. She used to babysit my mom's friends' nephews. So now they're grown. They're 10 years, 12, 13 years old now. They're teenagers. They don't need to be babysat. So now they cut her completely off. The only time they come for her, to is for church, and because they're in their church group. But that's all
Right.
they do is church activities and prayers and all that stuff. So when it's come for Thanksgiving dinner, usually we go to her house and eat Thanksgiving dinner. So now that the nephew's a teenager now, and has problems of his own, we used to go to this restaurant in downtown Newark, New Jersey, and eat the Thanksgiving dinner. It's like a little Portuguese Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Not the same
yeah.
thing. Portuguese in Italy.
Anyway, but they serve Thanksgiving dinner there. So, but now 2020 is pandemic.
Would
You
your
cannot,
mom?
yeah, and plus the mayor of the city decided to shut everything down tomorrow.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's Wednesday, so he's gonna shut everything down because of COVID. The only thing is gonna
Do you eat
open
turkey? What's she making?
she's gonna make mashed potatoes, rice, turkey.
Oh, starch.
She's gonna try to buy this gravy from a grocery store tomorrow before
Right?
it
Okay, and
closes
gravy.
down.
Yeah.
Buy some vegetables and all that stuff. She's gonna go get her cooking. She's gonna
Do it up. Get her to work. Do you
So
yell
what-
at her? Say, "Make me dinner, mom.
What
Getting
time?
hungry here, woman."
What time am I supposed to be there?
What if Intra and I showed up? Would you feed us? Would we be welcome at the Lexar table?
yeah. So hey, mom, I have a few guests coming over.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Jack and Incher. You may not know them, but I do.
Come on, baby. Why don't you make me some food?
I told Jack, we talk about wrestling stuff all the time, and I used to call into these in your
What if
head.
Inchar was Lexar and your mom?
Hey,
What?
it's first
Can't
time
take
she's
this
been
guy
into-
anywhere. What the hell is going on
What?
here?
well,
Don't do that, Inchar. That's dirty. That's naughty, man. What the hell are you thinking?
She probably will say
Can't believe
"Get
this
off of me"
guy.
in Spanish. She to get off of me in
Hey,
Spanish.
Can you believe this guy, Lexar? Jeez. That's where his mind goes. I'm talking about turkey, and he's doing dirty deeds.
Incher wants to
I-
gobble my mom.
I
No.
don't even know how I got into this. I didn't say anything.
I got some gravy for your mom.
I'm sure you do.
Oh geez, Jack.
What?
That's
What? I now make her some gravy. Get the roux going. I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, boom. There you go. By the way, all right, intro. Nobody in my family besides me likes turkey.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, well, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday, I am making Cornish hens for Thanksgiving.
Have they ever mixed their turkey with the stuffing and the
Oh yeah,
cranberry sauce
we
and
used to
all that?
have we used to have it.
And they still don't like it?
Not really.
Really?
Like my grandfather used to like it, and but they all passed away. So this is gonna be me and my mom this year, and she's not a big turkey fan. So
Yeah.
Cornish hens, but I'm having all the other fixings with the Cornish hens.
I think we're gonna have turkey, ham.
Roast beef.
What about
Raw
this?
meat.
Does other families make oyster dressing? Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. Yeah. I thought your mom doesn't like seafood.
She won't eat it, but
Oh,
she's not the one making it either.
okay.
But but like oyster dressing, I just didn't know if it was like a thing that other people do.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I
Yeah.
think my grandmother used to make it. She was big
Yeah.
on oysters.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of oysters.
Well, you taste more of just like it's like mixed in with everything. You kind of don't taste it as much, but
I like oyster
like it.
sauce that I put in my. I used to make. I don't make fried rice anymore. But JTG fan is here with us. I don't know if he's ever called in.
That's
Has
like a first.
I've called in a couple times, but not for very much or not for very
or
memorable.
not zoomed in. I remember you calling in, but not zoomed in.
Mm-hmm.
Only once. I was just testing out Zoom.
Oh, okay.
But I think wrestling is almost dead. So I'm here to talk about
Really?
pinball. I went to up to Seattle. They have a pinball
Intro's
museum.
rock hard right now.
Uh-huh.
Hell yeah. Up in Seattle, they have a pinball museum in like Japantown.
Yeah.
And so you pay like an entry fee, and then they have a bar, so you can buy like bottles of beer or cider, and then
Yeah.
you get to play pinball for free.
So, what was your favorite game that you played that night?
Terminator 2.
I have a Terminator 2 in the room.
You can just go over to Intra's house.
Oh
Mhm.
shit!
It is a nice machine. I love the shots on it. You just keep.
Yeah,
keep
If
Yeah.
JTG
The
fan
flow.
shows up at the door, you letting him in to play some Terminator 2?
Sure.
Open invite.
Next time I'm in Northwest Virginia, I'll hit you up.
There you go. I'll let you
They
in.
had they had an Adams Family machine.
I don't have an Adams family. No.
You should have stole it for Intra.
next time I will. They had the what do you call it? Star Wars Episode 1.
Okay. Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah. That was the one with the holograms on the glass and all that. Like it had like a monitor projecting on top of it. Pinball 2000 was what it was called.
Awesome technology. back
Pinball
then.
wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
sing it though. We'll get a boom. Get a
thing.
flag.
Mhm.
Oh, and then they
Especially
had
when I
this,
nail the vocal so like exact. They'll be like, "Wow, he's just playing the song."
You'll get flagged for the algorithm, yeah. They had this Elton John pinball machine. It
Oh,
was
really?
pretty crazy. I forget the
Yeah.
name of it. It wasn't one of the it wasn't like Rocket Man or something, but it was an obscure Elton John
Rocket
song.
Oh, it's a bar-
Here's why they call it the
Fantastic.
blues.
Captain
Time
Fantastic.
on my hands.
Yeah, that was
Could
it, that
be
was it,
time
Captain
spent
Fantastic.
with you.
Well, See, you're singing again. You can't do it.
Mhm.
Good.
Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. That is an album by Elton John. So they were trying to make it. I think they were trying to do like a whole Sgt. Pepper's kind of thing with Elton John. So, and I don't think it quite took off as much, but that is a really good album, though. It's like one of Elton John's better albums that you can listen through all the way.
I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, you have. You always bring up Nikita to me, or little Nikita, or whatever.
Nikita, you will never know anything about my home. I always
Like-
wanted to do a video where I use that song, but I cut it out. But I have Magnum TA singing it to Nikita Koloff,
Oh,
and I would make their feud into a love story.
I remember bringing up that I was
An
like an Elton
unrequited
John
love
fan,
story.
and that was the first song you brought up, and I was like, I have never even heard that.
You
song.
never come on.
I've heard it now, but like, don't you remember the conversation we had?
About Nikita? No, I'm sorry, I don't remember it.
You don't remember? I
You
think it
say
was
you're an
one of
Elton
the
John
shows.
fan and you never heard of Nikita?
Well, that's not. I mean, come on. Out of his hits, I mean, is that the biggest hit?
It's a big
No.
hit. It's a pretty
What
big video.
Steven says no. I mean, come on, Tiny Dancer,
I heard that
Yellow
before,
Brick Road.
that was one of the names that we're going to
Um,
call that movie they made. They were thinking, do we call it Nikita or do we call
No.
it Rocket Man?
No.
That's what I heard. Lexar
Lies.
told me.
Anyways, I'm sorry I got into an Elton John conversation, but
What do you think, though? What do you think Magnum TA would feel about that if he saw this video and it was like this unrequited love affair, Magnum TA and
he
Nikita
would think,
Koloff?
I'm never coming on your show again.
Put a whole new spin on the feud.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would do it now, but we'd get flagged. We can't do it now. It
Nope.
sucks.
Well, you know.
What's your favorite Elton John song there, Lexar? I know people turn into the show to hear all about Elton John music.
Well, you probably didn't watch wrestling this week, so
I did. I watched Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
So booyah, booyakasa. But okay, I already said mine. What if you were gonna make a wrestling angle off of an Elton John song? I already told mine, Nikita. What Elton John song would
that's
inspire
easy.
you to make a wrestling angle or character? And
That's
what would it
easy.
be? Really?
That's easy.
Hornswoggler's The Tiny Dancer?
No. Saturday night's all right for fighting.
Yeah, all right. That could be a pay-per-view. An AEW pay-per-view, because they do those on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Tony Khan's got the money to afford the song too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one time he did the video package with Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, and Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone was playing there.
I was thinking,
Oh yeah. They did bring in that 80s tune.
how about the Jack and Interest story? And it could be rolling like thunder under the covers.
Guess that's why they call it the blues. See, that's bigger than the song that you're even talking about before. That one's
Big time music video back in the 80s during the height of the Cold War.
like
MTV was on all the time.
You never hear about it though anymore. I mean,
I can't help it. The kids are bitches, but it was big time. It's like Suck It Up of Kiss Fiend. Or Lick It Up.
Lick It Up.
Yeah, Suck It Up. That would be man.
That's Jackie Jones' original.
Yeah. What I sing to injure.
See,
Oh, dear.
it's my joke, but you turn it around. I mean, that doesn't work.
Well, if I'm singing it, I got to sing it to somebody.
No.
Wouldn't that be a nice love song to sing to you, Incher?
No.
I like it. All right. So yeah, wrestling. I'm gonna post about people zooming in. So you guys talk about wrestling while I do this.
Okay. The pay-per-view overall, I found it an all right show. I mean, it had some strange moments, like we were talking about earlier with Lana, just like being the sole survivor. But the Jey Uso stuff, I thought was one of the more compelling parts of the show, with Roman getting mad at him for losing and saying that his team wasn't with him and that the other team didn't fear him. So
I wasn't a big fan of the show. I thought it was very lackluster and pretty hum-ho.
Well, I'm getting the feeling that it's about time to maybe retire Survivor Series if they're just going to have these kinds of shows. If there was one show that I think they could bring back that possibly they could do something with, they should make the King of the Ring a pay-per-view again. And the guy who wins it should get a big push as the King of the Ring.
Sure.
Instead of the Survivor Series where you have a lot of pointless matches that don't mean anything.
Yeah, nothing means anything. They have champ versus champ. Neither of them lose the belt. Why? Who cares who wins? They never talk about it again. And then you have these Raw versus SmackDown matches that that supposedly are important this one night only, and then are never talked about again either.
Yeah.
With Matt, then there's no feuds involved. It's a totally pointless show.
Mm-hmm. So the first Survivor Series match, the Team Raw, it was like a clean sweep, wasn't it? Like they just totally destroyed SmackDown.
I was surprised at that. I thought they were going to make Jey Uso maybe a star by having him go up against these 5 guys, and he was going to take out maybe 3 or 4 of them, and then he was going to lose. But no.
Yeah, and Seth Rollins, he just like bows down and sacrifices himself.
Or he's going to be a dad, so.
Yeah,
I know that in reality, but I'm watching look, okay, if you watch a TV show or something, like they're going to write a guy out of the show because they're going to do something. You don't like think of that while you're watching the show. Or if you are going to do it, at least have like a reason. The reason when you're watching the show shouldn't be his real life reason. Yeah. Why is Seth Rollins, the Messiah, the character, sacrificing himself?
I mean, really, should they even be bringing it up on TV anyhow? Because he's a heel and she's like a face.
Yeah. And if their story in the show is he's going home to be with his child, why would he sacrifice? Like, okay, kick me in the face as hard as you can and pin me. Mm-hmm. How does that make any sense? So this will make me a good dad. I'll be brain dead.
So is he going to be out for a while? Is he doing like maternity leave or something, or like
paternity leave would be
paternity or whatever?
I mean, yeah, probably. It's nice to be home with your family.
Yeah,
I know you're not big on families and stuff.
It's like some kind of like religious overtone.
Good Lord. Like once again, I went out and got dinner earlier, and I'm a bad guy who hates my family. Good Lord.
We were always taking Lanny's side on the
just because we disagree on one thing doesn't mean I hate my whole family.
No, you just lack respect or loyalty for your families.
You know,
I didn't say you hate them.
It's not right. You're ridiculous.
Money takes precedence.
I never. You're crazy.
I don't know. I didn't think much of this opening match.
Well,
I thought Otis was moved to Raw. Now he's on SmackDown again.
No, he was with
Raw,
wasn't he?
I thought he was on Team SmackDown.
Yeah, he was on SmackDown.
Yeah, wasn't he drafted to Raw? When did he move back to SmackDown?
Or was he?
Oh, his partner was, but then didn't he like sneak on to Raw?
Yeah, because he was El Gordo or whatever.
Yeah,
Al Gran Gordo. That's right.
Yeah. It really worked out for Tucker too, because he split up and now he's never seen again. He's not even.
He did have a match, but it was very brief. He just basically came out and got squashed. It didn't look like.
And aren't they putting someone else with Otis? Didn't they mention that the short guy, Shorty G's with Otis? So why do you split up a team that work together and have something in common to put one to do nothing with the one guy and then put the other guy with another guy? Like, what? How does this make any sense to anybody?
I don't know. And it seems like they just wanted to de-push Otis anyhow, because why would they take the money in the bank belt or, briefcase from him and give it to the Miz? It's like he won it, why are they coming up with this big scheme on how to take it away from him and everything? That doesn't seem like a very
Because I don't
good
think they
storyline
think
to
things
me.
through. They're like, wouldn't it be funny if we put this on Otis? And they're like, yeah. Then what do we do? I don't know. Let's put it on the Miz.
Yeah.
And then let's put the Miz on the pre-show. At least he won.
Oh, he was on the pre-show. I didn't see the pre-show.
Yeah.
I thought the pre-show would start at 7, so I turned in at 7, and here the actual show was on.
Well, it was a battle royal, wasn't it? And like,
Yeah.
came down to him and Dominique, but like
Dominique.
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio.
Good Lord.
Anyway, do you really even picture Otis as a WWE champion? Or
No,
Universal
but
champion?
but if you're gonna push him, just then don't put the Money in the Bank on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. At least he's over and he's fun.
Yeah.
You could at least get something. It's a different matchup. I actually like Otis.
I'd be fine with seeing it. I think he's pretty in.
I'd rather see him as champ than Randy Orton again.
Yeah. Now, why Drew McIntyre beat Randy Orton? Like, what was the deal with that?
Why did Randy Orton win?
Like, I thought there was like some reason that Randy Orton couldn't be there or something.
Oh,
Like,
I think Drew won it back because he pinned him in a match for the title ensure.
I understand that, Jack. And I do like his entrance with the sword. It's kind of like overdone and everything, but I kind of dig it that he just comes out holding this sword. He's like, and I got a kilt on. I kind of dig it.
I haven't worn my kilt for a while.
Yeah.
And I wield the mighty sword ensure.
What's he talking about, Lexar?
Lexar like that.
That's what we're talking about.
Urias wants to know, can JTG fan rap for us? Are you a big rapper?
No, I'm not a rapper. What are you talking about? I'm drunk and I'm going to bed.
All right.
Well, nighty night, my man.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
It was nice talking pinball with you, but I think he's already gone. See you later, bro.
Pinball. All right. I like pinball. Crocodile Rock.
Crocodile Rock.
By the way, Urias is the first inductee into the Jackie Jones Hall of Fame.
You have your own Hall of
Yes,
Fame.
Heady, that's
Yeah. Yeah, and Urias is number 1 inductee, first inductee. Boom.
Okay.
There should be a Jackie Jones memorial award.
What am I dead?
No, it's not. It's just like a here.
No, I
is a list
remember
of
me.
Jackie Jones. Yeah, here's a list of Jackie Jones' personal friends and colleagues and people
I like
close to him.
anything that praises me. I'm for.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, that should be a special presentation in this year's.
I like this. I like this intro.
Can I make my own Hall of Fame?
Yeah, no one cares about that. Don't get
I can make my
crazy
own
now.
Hall of Fame.
Freaking big head. Look at his head of his over here. Egomaniac over here. He'll do his whole Hall of Fame. What the hell is he thinking? Jeez, man. God, man.
Jeez. JTG, you called back in. I thought you were tapping out for the night. Was there something you wanted to tell us?
He just woke up.
No.
No.
My
It's a hell of a nap.
my connection was cutting out, but I just wanted to say good night, guys.
Oh, well, good
Love
night.
the show. Thanks for everything.
Okay. Well, appreciate it. Thank you for calling in, my man.
Yeah, thanks
Good
for
night.
talking pinball.
Sleep tight.
Yep. Yeah, we'll play some Terminator 2. Just, I hope you like losing.
Oh yeah, I don't mind that.
Okay, cool.
I don't mind listening to a pro.
I'm not a pro, but
Just be careful if
have
he's
one.
trying to put anything in your in the DB hole. What?
I thought you were gonna bring up the accused or something, but
What are you, some kind of pervert or
you're
something?
kind of bringing it up. But I know.
Let's talk about the WWE pinball machine.
Well, I don't have that machine, so I can't put anything in the DB hole.
Yeah, but JTG fan might. I don't know.
Is he going to bring his WrestleMania machine down here and we'll be chucking balls into the DB hole?
Damn.
Well, that's what you do. It's like one of the first shots you encounter. Kind of like the skill shot, really.
Bouncing balls off each other.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a good time with that.
you're gonna get in on it too. You'll love it.
Can you do a 3-way pinball game?
3-way. You can do a 4-way.
Or the merrier.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So
Let's 5 here.
Steven
One of
can
us
get
is going to
in.
get left out.
Yeah.
I guess they get the JJ position. You just get to watch.
You can stand in the closet and watch.
Mm-hmm. All right. What was the next match on this show?
JJ really didn't think that one through. Like, can I be in the closet and watch? It's like, man, come on, JJ. Have some respect for yourself.
Maybe that's his deal. Didn't Chris Benoit want to do that? Wasn't that his thing? Like he was trying to get London and Kendrick to have sex with like some chick so he could watch and you know.
I've never heard that story. What the?
Yeah, it's on the Paul London Brian Kendrick shoot. I swear it's true. They say that they were like out at breakfast and like Benoit like was really trying to get them to hit on the waitress so they could take her back and have sex with her while Benoit and Jamie Noble would watch. Swear it's true.
Jamie Noble was down with this too.
Yeah, I guess him and that was him.
I'll
and
watch with you, Benoit.
Him and Benoit's deal.
I'm gonna have to do some
Man.
research.
You can look it up on YouTube. I'm not making this up.
So
It's Brian Kendrick, Paul London shoot.
Yeah, that's according to them.
Gospel. Well, I'm sorry to say a bad thing about the great Chris Benoit.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you know, they may have made it up just because the dude's dead. And
What about Noble?
well, does Jamie Noble refute it?
I don't like. I'm sure it's really something he talks a lot about.
Let's bring him up.
Back in the day, I used to jerk off with Benoit in the closet when wrestlers would bang the waitresses.
Man, that's just weird.
It's kind of weird. There's a similar story
Like,
in this.
I
book.
wonder how they felt whenever like the whole thing happened, and then like they realized that they told Benoit no. It's like
Maybe it set him off. It's
yeah.
if we only said yes, he'd be in a better mood.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Damn. So you're saying Paul London and Brian Kendrick are to blame?
Allegedly.
Hot damn. Weird times in the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Mitten was trying to get me and Intra to hit on the waitress at that breakfast place. Think that was his plan?
Mm-hmm.
So then we had the Street Profits.
Street Profits in the New Day.
New Day.
I found it like the promo beforehand was pretty good that they had Big E come out with them, like they rejoined for a new time.
It's like so. Then they literally just broke them up and then they're putting them back. It's like the reunion.
Yeah, I think they kind of had to do it in a way because they have a deal with the Gears of War, and like
That was kind of cool. I mean, I don't know a lot about the game, but that was fun that they came out wearing the stuff that they're wearing in the game.
Yeah, so they're kind of advertising that they're a DLC in the Gears of War game. So, but the Big E has maintained, like, talking about Xavier Woods, and like they still very much want to be a team in character form.
I've always said that. I mean, you could still do Big E as a singles guy, but kept them together as a faction.
Because
they're better together.
He's been razzing the Street Profits, saying like that they're going to get their asses beat.
And has it helped Big E? He wasn't even in a match in this card on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I know.
They split him up for him to be the big star.
I thought him and Sheamus put on like a hell of a performance on SmackDown a few weeks ago when they had their match together.
See, if they had traditional Survivor Series where like the feuds, were matched up, you could have done a team where either they're the captains or they're on someone else's team and they still fight each other instead of just random Raw versus SmackDown matches.
Yeah.
Man, I did. By the way, that guy with AJ is very tall.
He is a tall dude. That's for sure. I liked when Riddle kicked his flip flops off and like he kind of like ducked a little bit, like could you imagine if one of those flip flops hit him right in the face
and he took a bump,
and then he'd start crying?
How long before you think they push that guy?
I don't know. They're really holding out on that though. Like,
he probably still sucks a bit.
He was the door guy at Raw After Dark or whatever, and then
Raw Underground.
Well,
that lasted a long time.
I'm glad it was.
That was a big success.
Oh my god, that was awful. It was just like play music and listen to Shane McMahon go, oh, he's on him now. Oh, it's like this is awful.
Do you think they'll make a documentary about it someday?
Maybe like Vince was just sitting in his office and his phone started ringing and it was like the head of USA and he was like, Raw Underground, Vince. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, end it. And then he just hangs up on him and he's like, oh.
I think, wasn't Lexar a big fan of it?
Somewhat. Because they combine like MMA and wrestling. So, because wrestling is part of MMA, because you have to take opponent down. But I'm somewhat of a fan of it, but not really. I feel like it looks like a wrestling fight club.
Lexar, take it from us. That was bad.
I thought it had a lot of potential when it started out, but then
JTG
it all went downhill.
fan.
Like, it was cool because it was different, it had a cool different feel than the regular Raw show.
JTG
but
fan.
It totally fucked it all up.
Bad.
It was just terrible. They just didn't do anything with the storylines and the people, and it just fizzled out like after 3 weeks. So, yeah.
Burn bright.
They tried.
Died out. It's like Icarus. Got too close to the sun, Raw Underground. I know Steven, he was a big fan.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what he just said. That it was different. It was something. At least they tried something different.
But
might as well give it a try. And
yes, why? I think it proved we shouldn't have gave it a try. But I don't know. What do I know? Besides that, it sucked. Street Profits and the New Day. I don't know. It was a match. It was pretty good. It was fun.
Pretty fun, yeah.
It happened.
This is interesting to see New Day do the job for him, but I think that was probably right because I think they could have used the win more. New Day. I don't think New Day needed the win.
I saw a New Day monster truck at the store the other day.
Oh yeah,
like a toy monster truck that had New Day on it, and I was like, why do they make this?
Hell yeah! I mean, why not? What would you do if I came out with my own toy line and I had the 1-inch biceps monster truck?
I'd assume that's probably like up your alley. Monster trucks, pinball.
Well, I'll have your car too, but it'll be much smaller than mine.
How can it be smaller than 1-inch biceps? Well, yeah. Well, you've got to overcompensate.
And the 1-inch biceps is like your car is the one that the 1-inch biceps just crushes all the time. Like that's your car. Is that all right?
I mean, you're trying to live out fantasies through your toys, so I understand.
It's kind of like Spaceballs, where
I used to know a guy like that. He used to have the wrestlers. I shouldn't say that because he's dead. But he used to have his action figures, and he would beat up people he didn't like. I could see Intra doing that.
Nobody knows who you're talking about, Jack. I think, sorry, do you know who he's talking about?
You don't know. He's a good guy. My new picture will be the smudged Lexar. And one side will just be all blurry.
So you had to do like a little bit of eraser and kind of smudge it with your hand.
Or like lick it and
lick it up.
and smear it up. Blah, 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 blah.
See, it looks clearer like that, but
yeah, just like just stare into the lens like that.
It's like he's Lexar and us. This is probably what his victims see all the time. It's like they turn their head.
What is your facial expression when you're in mid Lexar? What would you do, Intra, if you felt something like what's that and you turn around and you saw that?
Let's say, why me? The DB hole's over there.
Would you guide him to the DB hole? Bombshell Comics, Jack, have you ever watched wrestling with an old babysitter? Well, no, because I never had a babysitter.
Yeah.
Did you have a babysitter? I mean, you had brothers, so probably you did.
Yeah, I had a babysitter.
Hot.
I'm trying to remember the first one I had. She was kind of attractive.
Getting excited.
But like, I think I had the very first one. Okay, no, I take that back because I'm thinking of the wrong person. Second one, I think, was mildly attractive, or probably decently. I can't remember because I was so young. And then the third one, no, but she was a very nice lady.
You ever watch wrestling with them?
I don't think I really did. No.
Lexar, you ever have a hot babysitter?
No.
You seem upset about that.
Yeah, kind of am.
It's a shame. Damn, it's cold down here. All right. This match sucked. Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. I'm a big Sami Zayn fan, and he just gets his ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Squash. Although Sami Zayn was the better heel, you had a heel versus heel match. And
I don't understand. Every time I watch this, I actually like the Hurt business, but they always fight other heels, and I'm confused.
Yeah.
It's like they had to have a champion versus champion match on Survivor Series. This isn't Night of Champions. I don't understand why they did that.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks versus Asuka. I actually thought this was probably the best match of the show.
Yeah, damn good match.
Yeah.
Again, though, it's kind of like, what's the point of it? But it was good.
Sasha won that one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. You see these matches, really good matches with champions, and then the title doesn't change. Or I don't really understand what the purpose is. I didn't care at all for the women's Survivor Series match.
But it was a great ending, though.
Although I had a good laugh at the end. Yeah.
Bianca should have won.
Stellar Steven is on the line. We got dueling Stevens.
This town's
Super
not big enough for the both
Stellar
of us.
Steven.
How can you tell the Stutter Steven and Steven Butler apart, though?
One's not on camera.
But why is that? Because they are the same person.
Like Steve Ventriloquist, and he's doing
He's
that.
got a split personality, like the Horde in Split.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think anything of the match personally.
Oh, I bought that
kinda
movie. I
trash.
never watched it. Split.
It's a good movie. I like the trilogy.
Okay.
I just thought it was pretty shit.
Well,
Not the movie, this match.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I actually like Split.
Well, I've
Shout
seen
out to Anya Taylor-Joy.
the first part, I guess, with Unbreakable, but
Unbreakable's okay.
Yeah, I like Unbreakable.
I really like Split. I actually thought Mr. Glass was terrible. I heard M. Night Shyamalanga Ding Dong. He cried that people didn't like Glass. Like he literally cried.
He probably put a lot of time into this movie, so he's invested in it.
Should have made a better movie.
you think like that would make a critic kind of go back and say, well, maybe we should give it another chance. We made him cry.
Hey,
It's definitely the weaker of the three.
I don't like to make people cry.
Like if you were telling somebody that you didn't like their movie to their face and they just start crying, would you try to like take it back?
All right, this is honest since doing Without Your Head. And then when I got more involved in the independent movies and actually became friends with them, so it's really hard to say like I couldn't review the movies because it would be hard, because like if I liked it, it's cool, but if I don't like it, I don't want to be dishonest and say I like something I don't like. But I also can't tell someone, you know, that I'm friends with that, you know, I didn't like their movie. It's rough. So I don't think it would be hard. It would be hard to have any type of personal relationship with movie makers if you're a critic.
You just ask if they made a Sixth Sense.
They what?
If they made like another movie that was better, like a Sixth Sense.
Just talk about that. I mean, I could talk about the movie, but I'm the most honest man in podcasting, so I can't say that I like something I didn't like. You know what I'm saying, Intro?
I hear you.
That's why when people ask, do you really like Intro? I'm just like, hey, did you watch Survivor Series? I'm just teasing.
You definitely want to change it to a wrestling topic. You would be like,
I love you, Intro.
no, you don't.
Yes, I do, bitch.
You're only saying that to
Only saying it because it's the truth.
Who's your favorite Von Erich?
My favorite Von Erich? I hate to say this after the interview and stuff, but when I was growing up as a child and I was watching World Class, I was not a fan of the Von Erichs. But when I was a kid, I really was a heel fan, which is like fashionable now. But at the time, it wasn't. But I was a big fan of the bad guys. Like I hated Hulk Hogan. I liked Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I like Piper.
I like
I'd probably say
Express.
Kerry Von Erich.
Like the
probably
Four
never
Horsemen.
seen David when I was a kid, because that was out of my, like, he never was on television whenever.
I really like Kevin now, like in interviews and in the documentaries.
Yeah.
Right.
What how's the song go? Modern day warrior, mean pride.
There you go. singing again.
I've seen Rush twice.
for rent. All right. Rush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought this. What did you like about the end? I was just bored watching this match and thought, God, it sucks. It's just like someone pins someone and then they immediately get pinned.
What, the women's match?
Yeah. Just trash.
Better. I thought it was I thought it was a better match than the men's one.
I didn't think much of it either. I thought they're both pretty shit.
But like I said, I was laughing at Lana just standing on the stairs throughout the whole match. And I would occasionally just forget what's going on in the match. And I would look over at the stairs and she's still standing there watching.
Wasn't Bailey one of the first people out? And she's like, and then like, so you think like, you know, it was like a nobody pinned her, wasn't it? Like Peyton
Royce.
Yeah. So it's like Jobber pins Bailey. So it's like,
and then Peyton loses right
they
away.
must be giving her a big feud, and then she's immediately pinned. So like it was, you just nullified her pinning one of the main star probably in the match.
Well, I've heard that they want to make Peyton into like a bigger deal.
Then why did they have her get pinned immediately after pinning Bailey?
Well, I guess taking out the former champion helps her, but
not when you completely nullify it 2 seconds later.
Yeah. I don't know why they did it, but they did. But
well, it's shit.
Agreed.
They don't know how to put together these Survivor Series matches. They're just like a guy, someone pins someone, and then they get pinned. Like no one's really built up or anything.
Yeah, I hated the one women's match from a previous series where they had Becky. They were hyping up Becky and Asuka, and like they eliminated like Becky or right away. I was like, what was the point of hyping that up? You're not going to pay it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre was a good match.
Yeah. I enjoy seeing them go out. And I felt like Drew McIntyre, he was being put over as like a main eventer for sure when they came out. And, you know, they kind of got it all going. And like he didn't feel like you know, the guy who was, you know, in 3-man band. He felt like somebody different to me. So that's good.
God, you just now feeling that?
No, I don't know. I'm not totally sold on him at all times, but I did think he felt a lot better as, you know, the champion and everything. So
I guess Scrap Iron Adam Pierce called him Drew McInfart on Raw. Now, was this like
Adam Pierce?
Was this part of the show, or was this like was this a goof?
I heard it was a goof.
Like he didn't mean to, I'm saying, was this part of the show? Did that carrot? Was it written that way, or did he accidentally call him McInfart?
He accidentally called him that.
I thought it was a goof.
He just called him McInfart?
I didn't see it, but I heard it was a goof.
That's kind of like the Undertaker on Cameo. It's like
Holy Scooby-Doo. Congratulations.
Oh, I forgot. So the end of the show, I see people saying there were tears. People saying it was the greatest moment in wrestling.
Oh, this is where I get angry.
I'm just going to say, I thought it was boring as fuck. What a pointless segment this was. The good farewell, the Undertaker. They bring out like 100 old men. They come out there. We see them come to the ring. Then they show the video package, and they come back to the ring, and they're all gone. We don't even hear anything from them. And then Undertaker takes an eternity walk to the ring, and then they have fake crowd chant. When I'm just like, oh God, it's embarrassing. They have people like yelling "thank you." They're not even there.
Yeah, they had the theremin.
Fucking terrible.
They
the Tesla coils. I kind of like the Tesla coils and the pole hologram.
I really didn't. I thought it was kind of. I'd rather just hear the regular Undertaker music. That was kind of goofy.
Well, they played
and
it.
Then,
after.
and I know people were like, "Oh, I'm bawling my eyes out because of the Paul Bear hologram," and I'm like, "This is so stupid." Like I'd rather just have a picture up there. Like they put a hologram of him.
This is why I'm
Paul
not on
Bear.
camera.
The hell am I watching?
So
The hell is this? Is this like one of the new Star Wars trilogies?
I feel like
Paul was the Force ghost.
I feel like at times Undertaker, like because of the crowd chants and all that stuff, he like kind of break character and like slammed the mic.
Yeah, but wasn't even a real
microphone and walked
crowd. He broke character. He was up. He got emotionally invested and piped in crowd chants. The hell goes he? Just a giant mark?
I'm just
Well,
wondering.
he is a giant mark.
He is the giant mark. I'm like swag.
I'm a Mark. I'm a Mark.
Someone
So I have
yelled at me
reference
on
for it.
Facebook. It's like, no, they're like, oh, you're not a real fan. Well, just because I didn't like the segment don't mean I think the whole Undertaker's career sucks. I'm a big fan of the Undertaker, and he's one of the biggest stars of all time in WWE, and he deserves a great send off, not this. You shouldn't even there shouldn't have been a send off until you could have an actual crowd. You can't have the Undertaker come out there in front of nobody and throw in some fake cheering and then have a hologram of Paul Bear. Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing. Undertaker's not inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame yet. So once the pandemic is over and crowds come back, Undertaker will be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
So then what was the point of this final farewell? And he just comes
to sell
back
the
again.
network.
That's not a point for a show.
30
like that's
years.
your point. You do
30
something, but that
years
can't be
since
your
he
actual
debuted.
point of why when you're watching the show. Like
It's
the crowds in there. What's this? Oh, it's to sell the network. But there has to be an actual like a storyline point of this.
There's no storyline to celebrate an anniversary.
That was like a retirement ceremony.
Yeah.
Boy did Vince look rough.
Anniversary of the Undertaker. Yeah. But
They should have did a hologram of Vince back in like his prime.
Speaking of dead people, like I see dead people, and it was Vince McMahon. It's like, oh my God, look at this,
poor Rick didn't look too much better, I don't think.
Dead people are good voters too.
Foley didn't look too much better though. Mick Foley.
Oh, no, he just has a big gray beard.
He's lost weight.
Looks like Santa.
It was cool to see the God ones. I wish his friends could have spoke more, but they disappeared.
Yeah, no one said anything. You bring flew all these guys in just to walk down to the ring, and then
that was my complaint.
You think when they're playing the video package, like, quick, get out of here, old man, get the fuck out of here. Bring out the Undertaker.
And it's amazing. It's amazing because WWE had like 2 10-man tag team matches in the Battle Royal. And they cannot have like these old people in the ring and the Undertaker come out, or the old people are in the ring.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been nicer? They stayed in the ring, and at least there would have been real people there with them.
Right.
They could have had the wrestlers chant "Thank you" instead of just fake chant.
Yeah, they should have just had them ringside during the entrance.
They could have stood in there with they could have all said something.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Incher? You loving it?
I mean, I don't think I hated it as much as you did. I think I kind of took into my mind was thinking, well, it's COVID and stuff, but I don't know why you have to have it now. But I thought it was what it was. It was all right for whatever it was, just to do it like that. I think they wanted to do it because it was Survivor Series, and he made it.
But they could have just had him come out and did something, and not call it his final farewell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Undertaker.
How many farewells does the guy have?
Well, how many did
left
the Shield
his boots
have?
in the ring? He's like,
it's WWE.
The streak ended. By the time he finally disappears, you're just going to be like, God, this guy's pathetic.
It is sad though that it's like they've got those documentaries about him wanting to have that great moment, but he just
yeah. I think they're well made, but they really do they make me depressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And it's weird seeing him out of character on those, and then he just comes out as the Undertaker on this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the final farewell should be like his Hall of Fame induction. I think that's the only thing that will.
It'll be like, this is the
right.
finalist farewell.
Maybe his friends will talk then.
Then it'll be, now we're bringing back the ultimate final farewell in Saudi Arabia.
You know, when you think about JBL and the Undertaker, you think of like the Alkalite, like JBL.
He should have came out as him and Ron Simmons.
Well, I was just thinking when he came out though, I was like, but if it wasn't for that JBL character, would you even remember him now? You know, like
APA.
So the Godwins, he should have came out as Midian.
APA was fun. Naked Midian.
I don't know. He looked really different though, but no, I don't think we need Naked Midian.
I think he was Chef.
Where was the hologram Big Viscera?
Not in the budget.
I don't want to see hologram dead people.
Don't want to see dead people.
Yeah, I want to see the holograms lock up and just have a whole match.
Yeah, like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised there's no Brother Love there. Like, I know he's probably producing, but I'm like, he was his first manager. He should have been out there.
Like, what if we had a hologram Barbie Richards right here?
Like,
he just popped like this hologram, and he's just standing there.
Mm-hmm. He says, "I'm the Potato Man."
He didn't say anything. He just sits there. He's like, oh, yeah, he did say, he did have the line, didn't he? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a curmudgeon, but I thought it was just lame.
You're a curmudgeon.
Steven, were you loving it? Were you throwing babies in the air?
Oh, that's what I was trying to do. It was, no, I was disappointed. I was really disappointed, and I agree with what everybody here has been saying, is that The Undertaker needs a proper farewell in front of fans, packed crowds, even if you have to wait a couple of years or however long you have to wait for the fans to come back to the arenas and experience saying goodbye to The Undertaker. It could be a WrestleMania with a Hall of Fame induction. That's a proper farewell and not what was on the Survivor Series.
If this is all you had, you should have probably just put it in the middle of the show, not like build it up to the end of the show.
Just recognize 30 years of The Undertaker and then that's it.
Yeah, nothing. You could just call it the 30 years of Undertaker. It doesn't have to be his final farewell.
Yeah. And like I said, very disappointed by it. Like I don't think we've seen the last of him. He's probably not gonna wrestle anymore, and he shouldn't.
I really wouldn't even be surprised if he wrestled again. But no, he shouldn't have had the last several matches, honestly.
No.
It's just been sad. Unfortunately.
But I'm willing to wait, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's like watching the last few years of In Your Head.
Yeah. But I'm not sure how much longer. Like I said, I made a joke earlier, but I'm not sure how much longer Vince McMahon has got, considering how he was looking. So maybe so, but still, I think like
Vince is just looking so like friendly anymore or something. Like he looks like some old guy you would see at like
he's got
Golden Corral.
Got a lot of facelifts too, so his eyes are like permanently up. It like looks like a devil. His eyes are all, his eyebrows are all pointed up in the air. I think he actually does have a wig now. People used to always make fun of, like, joke about the wig, but I think he does have a wig now.
Like it's.
I thought he just dyed it, but maybe it is.
Yeah, could be just dyed, but he does not look good or natural.
No, he doesn't.
Lots of makeup. Lots of surgery.
Mm-hmm. Or long for the world.
His neck's very thin too. He used to have a big giant neck, but I noticed like his shirt collar was like really big around his neck. And I don't know. He's just looking frail. Now's your chance, so you could probably take him, Incher.
You think so?
Dallas strength.
I'll be like, see if he'll run into my hand like he did Brett's.
Do you think Vince McMahon still has that physique?
I don't
For his
know. I
age,
think
yeah.
I think it'd be very weird what's going on. Like if he would take off his shirt now or something. I always thought he looked weird, no matter Like
Yeah, because it
being
looked
this
like he
old
was like a
dude.
different head on this like
Yeah.
totally jacked, ripped body.
Yeah, he was always kind of weird looking.
What do you think he looks like without his pants on?
Grapefruits.
Well, he did have that segment with Trish Stratus where like he was like
His
dropping
ass.
stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And he did the Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah.
You think they'll ever bring back the Kiss My Ass Club? Think we'll ever see another inductee?
No, probably not. Not nowadays. No.
He doesn't like being in camera, I don't think.
No, think he'll have any like holograms come out and kiss his ass?
Oh, jeez. You're like who would?
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, or jeez.
Hey Vince, arms looking big today.
By the way,
That would be
Urias
pretty
said, I forgot, I missed this. I'm sorry. When I inducted Urias into the Jack Hall of Fame, he said, I'm honored beyond esteem. It's humbling to the point of making my knees jello. Anthony Oberstar, when In Your Head gives Lexar an Undertaker retirement, will include Lexaring a woman. Maybe a hologram.
It's up to Lexar.
Speaking of the Undertaker, I've read somewhere that Undertaker signed a 25-year Legends contract, so they'll make plenty of merchandise of the Undertaker. There's still plenty of merchandise of him now.
Oh yeah.
What do you
Snoop Dogg.
think of this? Do you think they're taking 80% of his cameo? You think he's got
still under
his
contract,
cameo
so-
money against his downside guarantee?
He's still under his contract.
Maybe.
Do you really think the Undertaker would be talking about Scooby-Doo and stuff if he wasn't getting all the cash?
All elite.
All elite. Scooby-Doo.
Do you think that? First of all, that was well way to spend $1,000.
Uh-huh.
You think Incher would have?
You did the right thing.
All elite Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's what I would be doing with $1,000.
Money well spent.
You think that'll show up on Dynamite, or they'll just have Undertaker open the show and go, "All elite," and then they'll just cut to the opening.
Zoinks.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat.
I wonder if you could legally do that.
Probably not.
We could just get him to say "In Your Head."
Because it did look like it was filmed like behind the scenes at a WWE show. So I would say WWE does have their mitts in there somehow.
I won't say names, but I noticed there was a horror podcast, and they were sharing and they were bragging that they got Elvira to do a promo for their show, and I was like, wow, this is a show that's got 20 people on their Facebook. That's pretty wild that they got Elvira. And so I clicked on it, and it has the cameo thing right on it, and she's just listen to Billy Bob's horror and
Orton's.
And so I looked her up, and it's $500. So I was like, wow, that was money well spent.
Yeah.
And plus, you can't brag that someone made this promo for your show if you leave the cameo watermark on it.
Yeah, you got to fudge that out somehow. Do they have to have the watermark? I mean, if you're paying for
Just
it,
crop the video.
Yeah, crop the video or put your own watermark over it. Put your own logo over it.
Yeah, But if you're paying for it, like, yeah, just give them the raw footage, you know.
Right.
Paying customer here. They should be able to do what they want with the footage.
Oh, Tony Oberstar brings this up. Have you seen these shirts, Incher, that's got the Undertaker and Snoop Dogg on them? Like, what is? I don't understand this. Let me look them up quick.
Seems like a good
combination.
Taker's a Crip, confirmed.
I guess because Sasha is related to Snoop Dogg, and I don't know. She was doing like the Undertaker face.
Yeah, but all the wrestlers.
That was the cosplay shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Taker party with Cypress Hill, so maybe he's down with Snoop Dogg.
That's true.
Here you go, Incher. Look.
Whatever happened to Cypress Hill? You never hear from him anymore.
I don't even understand these. So it's got like the Undertaker, cross symbol, and then it says Snoop Dogg, the OD and the OG, the original Dead Man and the original Gangsta. Does this make any sense?
Maybe they're going to have like a WrestleMania match or something.
I'm surprised Snoop Dogg didn't do a merch with Cody Rhodes since they were on that game show.
Yeah, that's true.
That's weird.
They should be buddies, but
sell cigars.
What musician would be a good fit for Incher? So you get the ODOG, we need OIB and somebody.
Who does Incher listen to?
But he's dead.
ODB, yeah, ODB and OIB.
Too bad he's gone.
How about the wrestler ODB, I guess?
She makes some hot chili or
some sauce, barbecue sauce.
Oh.
What do you think, Lexar? Who would be a good musical collaboration for Incher? Waylon Jennings, maybe
50 Cent.
Yep, because he told a story about.
I'm thinking maybe Gigi Allen.
Gigi Allen.
OIB and Gigi.
Oh my.
The WV connection.
Shit on stage.
He's from West Virginia too?
No, I meant pooping.
What?
John Denver,
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Country roads take me home to place.
How about Jackie Jones, Incher? Who's a good one for me? Jack Black.
No, you'd probably be more into like
the Bee Gees.
Who's the girl who sang the Afro Puff song?
The what?
I rock rough and tough with my Afro Puffs.
I don't know. How about the WAP song, the Wet Ass Pussy song?
Oh God,
Cardi B.
Yeah.
DJ
Girl sings the Friday song.
Rebecca Black.
And Incher knows right away.
Yeah.
How about a real one? None of this bullshit. It's time to get serious here.
Yeah.
What does Jack even listen to?
He listens.
I don't like heavy metal. I don't like rock and roll. All I listen to is Barry Manilow.
So Barry Manilow then?
Hey,
I did not expect that.
Probably like a southern rock, because a lot of people consider me a southern rock legend.
A lot of people?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Headyverse.
Yeah.
You might have heard of him.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
All right, Incher. What do you think? Anything else wrestling-wise before we get to these questions?
Oh, God. We got questions?
Would you like a small Raw report?
Sure. I almost called you Lexar. Stevie?
Well, get ready for Lana to become the next one half of the Raw of the women's tag team champions, because Asuka and Lana beat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax on Raw. And I would imagine there's probably going to be an upcoming rematch for the belts. And Lana's probably going to win, and she's probably going to be a tag team champion with Asuka. That's just what I'm guessing.
Why?
Hey, why did she win the Survivor Series match?
I don't understand this.
But
I don't watch this shit.
Hey, I'm just going with the flow here. I'm pretty certain.
Are you loving this Lana push, Steven?
I'm enjoying it. I'm having a ball.
Man,
You
how
like
about Lexar? Are you loving it?
Somewhat. It's kind of like a apology to Lana after Miro left. For
Is it
AEW.
really? That's how they apologize to her? They make her look like an idiot?
No, they want her to be. They want her to be sympathetic, but they're doing the opposite. They're doing everything wrong.
I don't know what they want. Incher, you loving it?
It's there.
All right, so we have 93 questions.
I just want Shayna Baszler.
93.
Well, there's 93 replies. It might not all be questions.
I got my
Okay,
own
Jack.
questions right here.
Just
All
make it
right,
good.
let's hear Lexar's question.
Okay, so this is inspired by Nikhil Callahan because he got like a boatload of questions. So I'll have my own, but it's not like 98. So it's just maybe just 5.
All right.
On a scale of 1 through 10, how sleepy will Steven be during this segment?
I like this one. I'd say an
Sleepy
8.5.
Speaking of time, it's midnight. So here I go.
Good night, Steven.
Good night.
You're a
You
good
could've-
man. Good to see you. You're looking good. You're looking happy. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
And I made it through this.
I know you're in Canada, America, but enjoy it anyway.
Good night.
Can-Am connection.
Eat some turkey. Turkey? Jive turkey! Do you think anyone ever really got upset about being called a jive turkey?
I'm sure it probably happened.
Birds.
Next question, Lexar.
Oh, by the way, a little note. After these questions, I'm gonna have to tap out too. So
All right,
Okay.
bitch.
fuck, Mary,
Me too.
kill.
I'm going with Lexar.
Fuck, Mary, kill.
Guys are going to bed
Bethany
together.
Franco, Wendy Williams, or Ellen DeGeneres.
Who? What were the first two?
Fuck
It was
Mary.
Ellen. Yeah.
Fuck, Mary, kill. Ellen DeGeneres, Bethany Franco, and Wendy Williams.
Who the fuck is Bethany Franco and Ebony
don't know her.
Williams?
Yeah. Ebony.
Okay, the two of female talk show hosts. At least one of them is. So
Well, I'll marry Ellen because she's loaded. I'll kill Ebony and I'll fuck Mary or whoever they are. I don't even know who these people are.
Wrong question.
He's just pretending.
You know who they are, and sure, you know who Mary Ellen is and Franco Harris.
You know who they are.
Like
You watch
the
those
names.
shows all the time.
Intro. Next question.
He DVRs
How-
these shows.
what is triggered or what made Incher triggered or angry by? Trish Stratus announcing that she's pregnant and showing off her baby bump. Becky Lynch announcing that she's pregnant and showing off her baby bump. Or Renee Young announcing that she's pregnant and a couple months later showing off her baby bump.
Man, which pregnancy is pissing you off more, Incher?
Well, the reason I was angry about Trish Stratus was because she was doing like a Hall of Fame like induction at the time, and it was like, I don't know. I mean, I it's just like, yeah, look at the baby. It's like, I don't give a shit.
I hate
don't give a shit about your-
babies.
I don't give a shit about kids.
So that one made you the angriest.
That one made me the angriest. Now the other ones, they're just doing their pregnancy. They're not like trying to act like they're this really entertaining person at their Hall of Fame introduction. That was awful.
Well, last week Becky Lynch showed off her baby bumps with Seth Rollins, so
I'm
had
not
like a
angry.
whole photo shoot.
Did that get you horny though, Incher? Because I know you're into the
No,
preggers.
no.
Baby Messiah.
No.
All right. Who are you? Lexar.
Are you upset at the WWE for not booking The Undertaker versus Sting at WrestleMania?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck them.
Even if they couldn't do a singles, I think they should have done a
They
six-man
could have
tag.
done it.
I think they could have done a six-man
They
tag.
could
if
have done
couldn't do a
it.
singles. Yeah.
Could have
They
done
could
the
have done.
singles. No
They
reason.
could
They
have
could
done.
have. I saw
they could-
Sting in singles and I saw Undertaker in singles. Like, could have done it together.
Yeah, they could have done cinematic too.
Another
Yeah.
thing I want to say, Jim Cornette, he's always saying when people bring up the possibility of Sting going to AEW, he's like, he ain't gonna go there, blah blah. The man wrestled for Impact.
That's true.
If you wrestle for Impact, why would you wrestle for AEW? All right, what else?
Okay, final question. How angry will Jack be if Johnny Swinger become world champion?
Johnny Swinger?
Yeah, imagine that. Johnny
What is this,
Swinger,
1996?
world champion in either AEW, Impact, or maybe WWE. But
He's
I
back, Johnny Swinger?
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Swinger?
He's back.
Imagine if you see on your
Better than
TV
ever.
that he has a graphic and he has a championship belt and it says Johnny.
Is he a
Swinger.
hologram like Paul
Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer?
Mhm.
No, he's very much alive.
Force Ghost.
He's very much alive.
Yeah, but he's like not in wrestling anymore. He's got to be retired
he
for like
is.
25 years.
No, he's in wrestling. He's in good
Johnny
shape.
Swinger?
Johnny Swinger. Johnny Swinger. World
The
champion.
swing man.
World
swinging it up.
champion? What, like in his hometown indie?
No. Imagine he came into AEW and like Cody, he pinned Moxley. Like Moxley beat Eddie Kingston, beat Kenny Omega, beat
Oh, he's
Chris
with Impact.
Jericho. Yeah, but he could go.
Johnny Swinger?
He could jump to AEW and become world champion.
You're just living in a dream world now. You get Rudy Giuliani out here to try to back up these claims or something.
Rudy Giuliani.
I like that he's been affected by Papa Shango.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty funny picture.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny video. Looked like a fucking crazy man.
I didn't see the video. I just seen the picture.
All right. Adam Parks wants to know, will it be ham, turkey, or cheeseburgers for Thanksgiving?
Turkey and ham.
Who has cheeseburgers for Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool, I guess.
A big plate of cheeseburgers. Dig in.
Cheeseburger picnic.
John Barker, happy Thanksgiving, Jack and Incher. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Steven seems like a loyal husband and good guy, but Trish and Alexa Bliss really get his dick hard. Would he be okay with being in the same room as Alexa Bliss, being double teamed by Jack and the Inchman? Interesting.
Too bad he left before.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't there when that happened.
Wow.
Dobbs, hey Incher, which is better, the shithole 1X or the PS5? The what?
Well, time will tell, but
Xbox.
if you're Xbox, yeah. If you're
said shitbox.
Yeah, judging from the release, I think PlayStation 5 had a stronger release because they had like an exclusive game and they had like a phenomenal controller that's you have to play with to believe. It's
Bet you're playing
pretty crazy stuff. Some of the stuff that it does with that haptics controls and or the feedback from it, the haptics feedback. So,
Which exclusive did you get? Did you get the exclusive game?
the Demon's Souls.
Oh, sweet. Is it
yeah.
good?
Yeah, I've been playing it, and it's taken me a little bit to get the hang of it, but I'm starting to really enjoy it. And they also give you Astro's Playroom as like the demo, just to kind of show off the controller, and that's pretty fun too. So, and that's
I never played the original, so
yeah, I have it on the VR, and I played a little bit, and I've been meaning to go back and kind of finish it. Your hat just kind of freaked me out. You're looking down. I looked back, and I was like, "Whoa, Santa Claus! Santa!"
It's like a head on a head.
Santa Foldy with your head.
In your head.
Mm-hmm. You know it.
All right. Stephen Butler, care to take bets on how long it will take for Lana to become a champion, either singles or tag team?
Well, it happened, didn't it? So Steven said it happened.
But Steven asked the question. Who is the sexiest man alive in the Headyverse for 2020?
Lexar.
Pretty handsome devil there.
Can that include guest?
Sure.
I don't have an answer. I just wanted to ask that.
It's still XR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can neither confirm or deny.
Tyler Stevens, who were the key historical figures that Jack learned his honest ways from? Interesting. Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe. No one's done more for honesty than me, besides maybe Abraham Lincoln. Arguably, Abraham Lincoln. Tyler Stevens, who were Incher's boyhood heroes and who are his heroes now?
Jack Lincoln.
Who was my boyhood heroes? The Savage Dragon.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Abraham Lincoln.
Mahoney from the Police Academy.
Is that the woman with the big boobs?
No, that's Steve Gutenberg, you idiot.
He has big boobs?
No, Steve Gutenberg doesn't have big boobs.
The guy that didn't he blow an old man under a podium?
Like in the first one.
Oh, his Johnson?
Well, he didn't do it. He had a girl underneath the podium with him.
That's right.
Yeah. And then
Undertaker was my hero.
Commandant Lesarge was like, "Oh, Mahoney." He thought it was Mahoney, but it wasn't Mahoney.
All right.
He didn't shoot the sheriff.
And Farmer Vincent.
Farmer Vincent?
From Hotel Hell.
Oh. But yeah.
I was thinking that would be a good hero. Huh? Jason Voorhees.
I didn't watch Friday 13th when I was a kid. I was a teenager when I started watching.
Really?
He was like early birth control. He would stop premarital sex.
Okay.
Well, those are good answers, Incher. How about who's your current heroes? Who do you look up today?
Who do I look up to?
Songman, did you say?
No, Saul from Better Call Saul.
Oh, that's a good hero.
It's a good hero.
This crooked guy, yeah.
It's a good choice.
Let's see.
How about Mike from Breaking Bad?
Lana.
Yeah.
Vince Russo.
Yes, Vince Russo. You got it.
Undertaker's mine. Maybe
his local mechanic.
Rudy Giuliani.
No,
Donald
Rudy
Trump.
Giuliani.
Donald Trump.
He's WWE Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
He did give us a commercial-free Raw. People forget about that.
Yeah, it did a lot for the WWE Universe.
All right. Go to the next one.
Yeah.
Who would make a better wrestling game? Shiguguru Makamakia or Dakadaki Hojima?
Ooh,
Was that verbatim?
It's what Tyler Stevens asked. I don't know.
Shigeru Miyamoto, is that what he's saying? And I don't know what the other name.
Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima.
Oh, the game developer?
I would say
Game
Shigeru
I
Miyamoto
don't
would,
fucking know.
because he's very talented. And
I think they're both
other
in
guy's a
the
little too
Wrestling
full of
Observer Hall
himself.
of Fame.
I like the other guy's games, but it's just Hideo Kojima. I think he gets a little too crazy with some
Did he
of his
make
stuff.
Hubert?
No.
He made Metal Gear
Okay,
and
yeah.
Death Stranding. I kind of like the aesthetic, but I still haven't finished Stranding.
What the fuck are they talking about, Alexa?
Video
Death
games.
Stranding.
video games, I guess. Speaking of video games, I have ordered online a Sega Pocket Arcade. Do you think I should take it? Do you think I should take it out of the box or just leave it for display?
The new one? Are you
No,
wanting to play it?
no, it's an old school Sega Pocket Arcade. If you remember in like the 90s or I think the 90s or 2000s, Sega came out with a Pocket Arcade. It's like the video
Like
game.
the Pocket Fisherman?
No, it's like video game.
Are you playing Pocket Pool?
I'm not familiar with it.
No, look it up. Look it up. Sega Pocket Arcade. It came out in like
Well, if it came out in the 90s and it's brand new in the box, like you don't want to take it out of the box. That's going to devalue it.
You're gonna put it up
Well, but
behind
I
you?
want to play it. But I
Well, if
want
you
to
buy
play
it to play it, then you have to take it out of the box. How are you gonna play it in
Right.
the box?
Without your box.
Why are you even asking?
Well,
In
I'm
your
just
box.
yeah, but I would say like get a used one if you want to play it.
What if the used one doesn't work?
Or buy
But it
one that
wouldn't-
works.
Yeah.
Get your money back.
Don't get gypped.
Just make sure it's described as working, and then if it don't work, send it back.
Could Incher beat Reggie in Super Dodgeball?
Who's the Reggie?
I never really played Super Dodgeball, so
Can you dodge a wrench?
is that like the last guy on it or something? I don't know.
I thought it was like a friend of yours, like you played.
I don't know
games
who
with.
Reggie is.
Reggie Jackson?
The guy from Phantasm, maybe.
That's a no for me, dog.
Sure, I could probably beat him in that game.
Dobbs Dean Maya, could Incher finish this sentence? You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap lousy.
Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know. Scumbag, you maggot, you cheap lousy son of a bitch.
Whoa, man. The hell's
Whoa.
a family show here, Incher. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, ignore the Alexa Bliss gangbang.
Tazo Theodisiadiadius wants to know. Incher, what's the best toilet brush?
The best toilet brush. I have no
I'd say
opinion on
Tazo's
toilet brushes.
toothbrush.
Yeah.
Rub that in,
Really
clean
good.
up all those poops, and throw it back in. Say, why brush
Dad-
your teeth now, boy?
Dazzle Pro.
Tazo wants to know, Incher, is your outhouse soundproof?
No, why would you want to soundproof your outhouse? That don't make no sense.
Takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, you want the neighbors to hear Smash Mouth when you come out.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Stevens, thoughts on John Tenta, top 5 big men of all time?
He's also you guys' dad, too, from that picture I saw.
Yeah, the picture's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I like John Tenta, I like Earthquake, but I don't know if I'd really put him in top 5 best big men.
He's one of the top 3 toughest men in wrestling. I'll say that.
Maybe.
Him and Haku.
Damn, it could possibly. I don't know. But
Bret Hart said he's pretty tough.
yeah, but I don't think what's that have to do with anything? Doesn't have anything to do with like do I think he's the best big man? Nah, not really.
Undertaker's the best big man.
I never considered him a big. When I think big man, I think like big giant.
Taker's like 6'10".
I know, but I that's a tall guy.
So
Vader then.
I would put Vader as my top, and then I write in here Bam Bam Bigelow.
Vader was a huge star in Japan.
Yeah, I know. Intra, do you have what do you think? Earthquake in your top 5 big men? I actually really like him, but he wouldn't make my top 5 big men.
Sure, I'll put him up there.
Right.
He's one of the most athletic too, like legit sumo guy.
Dobbs, do you think Tazo has fun with the fishes?
What?
Like, I don't think he does that anymore, does he?
I don't know. I heard
hard
that
to tell what Tazo does.
Norm, when people use the phrase "you're going to sleep with the fishes," you mean you're going to die, you're going to get killed. But when Tazo says it, he means he's fucking the fishes.
I think whoever asked that is going to get iced.
Man, this talks over my gold humor here. Let's see here.
Is that what it is?
That's a good line. Incher has more consoles than I have video games. This is Brian Maglander. Game Boy Advance is my favorite handheld. Which one is yours, Incher? I do like the Switch,
handhelds.
too.
Sega Pocket Arcade.
The Game Boy Advance is pretty good.
Yep.
I have to. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but it does have a pretty solid lineup of games. So I'll give it to Brian there. I think you're right with that.
Has Incher? This is Tyler. Has Incher ever dreamt about a video game that hasn't existed?
Probably.
AEW video game.
Like some crazy fever dream or something.
All right.
Like I've probably had some sort of game going on in that, but nothing I can recall. I very rarely remember my dreams. Like I have to like almost write them down as soon as I get up or something to like remember them because they normally leave me pretty quickly.
Was it Elden Ring? Was it Cyberpunk? Like the ones that keep getting delayed?
Well, Cyberpunk, I heard it got leaked. Like somebody leaked the file for it.
Was it Julian Assange?
Oh, I don't know. I think he's stuck in Russia, ain't he?
I think that's Snowden.
Oh, that's Snowden. Oh, yeah.
Marty Van Buren, do you think Tony Atlas is eager to have Jane Cargill walk on his face?
That sounds like a Tony Atlas.
Did you hear that? He's kind of feuding with New Jack right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
He called New Jack a couple of names because New Jack was saying stuff about Tony Atlas, and Tony was saying it wasn't true. So they're kind of going back and forth at one another.
It's a word.
Yeah, I think a prime Tony could definitely handle New Jack without weapons.
No, if he stabbed him.
Without weapons is what I meant.
No weapons.
Dobbs,
I think Tony's still a pretty big dude even at his age.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take him.
I might not take him real easy. But, Dobbs, Dean Maya, both Jack and Incher are in sexy shape these days. I'm proud of my favorite white boys. Thank you, Dobbs.
They're not dirty either.
Marty Van Buren, would you rather receive the shooting star press from Viscera or the stink face from Rikishi?
Depends on how Viscera lands. Like if he lands
Well,
prematurely, that's not good.
I mean, I'd rather be embarrassed momentarily than like die.
Exactly. Don't want the Brock Lesnar 2 to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he'd just kill himself. But
I think shooting star press. I think
that would be a spectacle.
How about
How
about the hump from Viscera or the stink face?
I'd rather take the stink face than the hump.
I don't know.
Actually, the hump, if you think about it, could be developed for me.
Whoa, you think you were stealing your gimmick?
Basically.
Man.
And on that note, I have to peace out.
Good night, Lexar. You're a good man. It's always good to see
Good exit.
You. Tyler, would you rather take the rocker dropper or the doomsday device? Rocker dropper. You
Rocker
only hurt one
dropper,
guy
I
with
think.
that. A lot of people are hurt by the Doomsday device.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marty Van Buren, which caller would you trust to shave your balls?
Which who?
Which caller would you trust to shave your balls?
Do we have a barber or anything?
I don't know. Do we? I don't know. It's a good question. Yolanda. I think she's got a steady hand.
Cole Brutus.
Jeez.
Shaheen.
I don't know. He
Shaves
said he
his
did use a
head,
straight
so-
razor. Yeah.
Yeah. You probably could shave your nuts. Marty Van Buren, how do you get past the hatred and jealousy which drives you?
Manscaped.
I have no hatred or jealousy. I just have love and joy and honesty in my heart and soul and mind. Tyler, did someone find Swax? Yeah, so I was asking. Steven said he hasn't talked to him in months. So I sent Shaheen out to try to find him because they both live in Philly.
Oh, okay.
Dobbs, give me one good reason to reproduce. Nah, I say don't do it.
Define reproduce. We could donate.
Have babies.
Yeah.
He's not like a Magua or Gremlin.
And maybe he would find purpose in his life if he had a child. It would change things for him.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be going through like a depressed kind of stage, it seems.
Marty Van Buren, fuck, marry, kill Joel Gertner, the Blue Meanie, and Brandon Cutler. I think I'd marry Joel. I don't know. Me and Brandon could play a lot of D&D. So I'll
Kill
marry that
Joel.
guy. I'll bang
Kill
Joel
Joel.
Gertner and I'll kill the Blue Meanie.
Why you killing poor Blue Meanie? He's such a nice
process of
guy.
elimination.
He's such a nice guy, though.
Meanie's probably better in bed than Gertner, despite what you may think.
I don't know. He's such a nice guy. I can't see killing Meanie. I mean,
yeah, it's not like I want to. It's just
I mean, he got punched in the face by poor JBL, and here
put him
you
out of his
are,
misery.
you're wanting to shoot him.
Yeah, I didn't say shoot him. I strangle him.
Good gosh, why you want to strangle the?
Maybe
Blue
I'll
Meanie?
kill him by old age. Or maybe I was going to kill him with love. Like
Kill him with kindness.
Marty Van Buren, would you rather live in England or a nice place? I really enjoyed my time in England. Could Miss Destiny easily dispatch or beat up, in other words, her rival Jujubee?
Nah.
Who would win in a fight to the death? Dobbs or Marty Van Bollocks? Oh, my boy Dobbs. He's an animal. Marty's an old, feeble man.
Yeah, that's all I know about Marty. So yeah, probably Dobbs.
He's like Vince McMahon or something. Tyler, when is the Headyverse calendar coming out? That'd be cool. I do it without your head calendar every year. It'd be kind of fun to do a Headyverse one. Marty Van Buren, invent a name for a new pay-per-view.
Invent a name for a new pay-per-view. Let's see.
The Booyah.
Night of the Slam.
Whoa. I like it.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Slam.
Bam.
Marty Van Buren, does John Inch Bicep still have plans to emigrate to the Dominican Republic?
No.
No passport.
I don't know how they That's even a thing. Okay.
Tyler wants to know, when will Incher find a good woman and settle down from his wild, rambling, power-goating ways?
I mean, you can't tame this wild horse.
It's true.
Can't tame this beast.
Look at it. I'm out of control.
When will Jack find a woman to make honest? Fuck that. Marty Van Buren, when would Incher like to see West Virginia declare independence and name him as president?
I don't want to be president.
Maybe vice president?
No, not even vice. I don't
Speaker?
I don't want any of that. Don't want it.
If Jack found another mummified animal in his basement, what would he hope it would be? That's an interesting question. Maybe an elephant?
That's a big space one.
Mm-hmm.
Has Incher ever found anything mummified in his basement?
No.
Sounds like Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually still there. I haven't looked for a while what it looks like. No, but last time I looked, that was like a year or two ago, and it was pretty much just the tail. Marty Van Buren, is Omega really ready for a big push? God, it's been years. So
I would say
it was ready in Japan.
Why is there no good Boogeyman merchandise? It's a very good question, Tyler. I'm gonna think about that and get back to you next week.
Is it on Pro Wrestling Tees?
Marty Van Buren, would you rather wipe Ric Flair's ass or eat dinner with and listen to Michelle McCool for 6 hours?
Oh my God, Michelle McCool.
Yeah, I think I'd rather.
In fact, I've heard she's McCool.
She's got Undertaker stories for days.
What am I gonna like? Oh, tell me the time you banged Undertaker. I'll find out about her as a person.
I'm gonna ask her about the Tesla coils.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbs wants to know, will he have sexual intercourse this year?
Depends.
How much money does he get? Tyler Stevens, thoughts on Mean Gene?
Mean Gene,
man,
pretty awesome. Yeah.
The best ever. What he did.
Did the show.
I have his Funko Pop.
There you
go. What people would you put in the interview position today? I think they need to let people like have fun with it is the main thing.
Stop writing them. Yeah.
Mean Gene was a good singer too. I wanted to follow up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Man. All right. Let's see here. Marty Van Buren. Remember TNA superstar Crimson?
Yes. Yeah. He's still around though, I think, isn't he?
Crimson? No, I remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't he come back recently?
Yeah, he had like some army gimmick with
I always thought he was pretty
Brothers
good.
in Arms or something like that.
You know, he's kind of green, but I thought he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Should AEW bring in the Amazing Red?
Nah,
I mean,
I think he's done.
I think his days are over, but Dobbs, did you know Relic is killer spelled backwards? What?
It is?
Holy fuck. Marty Van Buren, is Ginger Becky Lynch's child going to be the chosen one of wrestling?
Nah.
I don't think wrestling will be around. Tyler, is AEW and TNA in cahoots?
No.
Marty Van Buren, which celebrity would you legit buy and enjoy getting into wrestling?
David Hasselhoff.
That would be good. A hologram of Abe Vigoda. Dobbs Dean Maya, how much does Incher hate Becky's unborn baby?
I don't have anything against Becky Lynch.
Sorry to
and
laugh.
Unborn
It just made
Baby,
me laugh reading
but
that.
I mean, nobody else found it annoying that Trish Stratus is at her Hall of Fame, and she's like, "Oh, I got a baby."
You really touched me right here.
Lies.
I didn't even watch that shit. And how pissed is he that an Irish woman is having a baby with a non-Irish?
I know.
Tyler Stevens, do you think the real tribal chiefs are mad at Roman Reigns? That'd be pretty funny. Like the Mountie, they actually got mad and he couldn't call. I wonder if there will be anybody like you can't call him the tribal chief if he's not a real chief.
Yeah.
Would you like to see a second run for Hogan in TNA?
That'd be interesting at this point. Yeah.
He could challenge Johnny Swinger.
Johnny Swinger, Ace Austin.
Who?
Ace Austin.
Who the fuck is that? Is that a real guy?
Yeah. Ace Austin.
Laquan Vanderpool Higgins. What went wrong with Ring of Honor? I think really when AEW, when they really took those top guys,
Yeah.
it really took the sales out of them.
Yeah, I still see some stuff about them, but yeah.
With AEW being successful, ain't it shining a light on how incapable them other companies are? Not really. I think those stars, a lot of those guys in AEW right now got a lot of attention in Ring of Honor. You know, Ring of Honor didn't have the money and stuff behind it.
But is he referring to WWE, like how incapable they are? Like,
I guess maybe just the other companies.
Like, I almost think Vince McMahon doesn't want to make stars anymore because he doesn't.
They
like
say
them.
that because they really just want the company to be the.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like
no
they've
sense.
tried with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I think the only one to make stars are the people that they deem stars, and if you're not one of them, like they just won't do it.
They just won't do it.
They'll push you to some degree, but Laquan, why do you reckon Vince what do you think Vince likes about R-Truth? I'm sure he just laughs his ass off at him playing a dumb guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple answer.
I did think the gobbledygooker on the pay-per-view was mildly amusing. How they had the bird seed laid out for him. You loved it. Just admit it.
Yep. Sure was something.
I thought it was kind of funny.
That's right. Dobbs, I'm thinking of joining Parlor.
Well, I even talk to you sometimes.
That's fine. If you like it, what am I just gonna say? I thought it was dumb as shit.
See, you can't get away with not. You're probably like talking to somebody and you're like, "Oh, did you see my movie, Jack?" And they can read it right on your face. You hated it because you don't have a very good poker face.
I'm the most honest man in all of podcasts.
Oh, I'm not saying you're being
I remember when we used to go to when I was at Rock and Shock, and there was this real annoying guy I couldn't stand, Dr. Chris. He used to call into Without Your Head when you were on, and he would ask our guest on Without Your Head to be on his show. Do you remember that guy?
Oh, geez,
super annoying. And so he'd be at Rock and Shock, and he'd come up to me and Annabelle, and he'd be like, "Oh, look at this! I've got this bracelet it was sort of like some stupid Insidious 2," and I'd be like, "Cool." And like I thought I was just like, just like I didn't think I was so obvious that I couldn't stand the guy, but she was like, "Dude, like you could pretend not to hate this guy so much." Oh, he's so fucking annoying. But it was one thing he had was from Insidious 2, and one was from what's that movie with the giant robots? They fight like the giant monsters. Pacific Rim. It was It was a bracelet from Pacific Rim 2. And he was all excited about. Like they sent him this. it just was like a rubber bracelet that said Pacific Rim 2 on it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Like, who the fuck? Who would brag about that? God, he's so fucking. But anyway, the point was like, I couldn't pretend to be interested, even though I thought I was doing a good job.
Breaking the poor guy's heart.
Fuck
was
that
his
guy.
prized possession, that Pacific Rim 2 bracelet.
Dobbs thinking of joining Parlor. I will say whatever I want, but I won't mean anything I post.
Do it.
Jonathan Jackson, is it okay to say the N-word?
No.
Tell a story of your worst encounter with the N-word.
I did have a guy walking, like, I was a young kid, and like he just out of nowhere claimed that I said it to him. I'm
Really?
like, I don't know where maybe I looked like a person that but I never said that to him. I don't know what he was talking about. But I was like just a little kid then. But I honestly think the guy was just trying to start up a conversation. And like,
that's a great conversation starter.
Yeah, and I think he just wanted interaction with people or something. But like,
I remember growing up a young poor black child, and the neighborhood bullies used to ridicule me and call me the N-word.
Yeah,
that's where I learned to fight. What would Incher do if he found out someone sent him cat food instead of something he ordered if he knew where they lived?
So I'd have to know where the distributor lived, and I'd probably bring the cat food back and be like, you made a mistake. I need my console.
Tyler wants to know, what are popular things to do in the WV?
Cornhole.
Whoa! I thought that was illegal there. Putting it in the naughty hole.
Yeah.
The old. It's good time.
With the bag.
Man, you're freaky. Dobbs, I watched a Louis Theroux documentary about the WV being a heroin abusing place.
Yep.
I've noticed that Incher is not on the heroin, but he spends too much money on stuff. I don't
know where he got that notion.
I'm now beginning to think that he makes a shit ton of money selling heroin.
No. That's a pretty big accusation to say that I'm selling heroin. Good Lord.
Allegedly.
Yeah, could it be? Maybe I just have a credit card. I mean, come on.
You'd be better off selling heroin.
I'll pay it off at the end of the month. I thought about making a video about this because it seems like
people about paying the credit card,
about like how to get
selling
things
heroin
you want to buy, just because how to plan your money to buy things that you want. How to save in a way, or how at least how I do it
by selling heroin.
I don't sell heroin.
Oh,
I just sell I'm not even saying anything because it's not. I don't sell anything that's illegal.
Tyler Stevens.
I'm not even going to make the joke because nowadays it could be like, oh, well, that's on the record.
In 5 years, well, Incher said on
exactly
November 25th that
it's like I don't even remember saying that.
Tyler Stevens, what's your favorite Meatloaf song?
Yes,
this one. Yeah, go back and watch the show. Ask Al, we'll remember.
Yeah, I said 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. Nikhil Callahan's got some questions.
Dude, come on. I gotta pee. I'm tired. How many questions does he have?
Dirty dozen, 12. That's not too good.
We'll
run through them quick. When do you think FTR will return to Dynamite? That's a good question. I think they'll. And I kind of like when they do this. They have someone loses a big match or off for a little bit, but I'm sure they'll come back. And I'll say a month.
Definitely on that December 3rd show where they're booking the Moxley,
yeah,
and Omega.
I kind of like the. At first, I was like, you should save that for a pay-per-view, but then I thought about it, and I was like, well, if you're going to showcase like what your company's about, and if that is the time to put the belt on Omega, like if you put on TV, it's like it's going to be seen by more people.
Yeah,
I can see the reasoning there. Which company has dealt the best with the pandemic? For me, I like the AEW shows the best.
Yeah, I don't know if because WWE could start bringing people back into their shows, but they just choose not to. Yeah. They choose to have
which maybe that's the right decision. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, you can social distance and everything.
Yeah. I personally just don't really like the how they do the show.
Yeah, the Thunderdome.
This is my personal opinion, but I think the fake crowd chants are worse for me than the screens.
Well, I think that's bad, and that it does kill your morale for the show. Just knowing like they're not having live people in there anymore, and it's like
it's hard to get
just have a
it.
few. I mean, it would be like, hey, I can kind of get into this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely prefer the big crowd, obviously, but at least even just some people there cheering, it's just a different feel.
Or just knowing like the company cares enough to try to let people in, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you could argue that they care enough that they don't want to put put fans at risk. So depends on you look at it, I guess.
Yeah,
but just for me as a fan watching it, I think AEW's done a better job. The Fiend versus Randy Orton is the feud. The Fiend versus Randy Orton is a feud you want to see. No, it's not.
Is that a question? Do I want to see it?
I guess.
I mean, we've seen it before. It wasn't so hot. But...
Yeah, I can't really get into any Fiend feuds, to be honest. I'm sure there's. Yeah. I think his stuff with Daniel Bryan was probably good, but I don't know. The character's like hard to get into the actual matches for me. They're usually nothing I enjoy watching.
I don't mind the matches so much. I think
the stuff with Braun was horrible.
Yeah, I think the storylines are always interesting just to see them play out. But I'm not saying that they're good, but it's always one of the.
I can't really think of any Fiend matches I would say I liked. I think the best was probably with Daniel Bryan. Most of them, I think, are really horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, his stuff with Randy Orton, that's when they had the maggots and stuff. That was awful.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Will Omega beat Moxley? I'm saying I think he will.
I'm kind of in agreement with that. I think he probably will beat Moxley. For one, he you know, he is expecting a child soon, so maybe he doesn't want to be the champion for the year, you know. Maybe he wants a lighter work schedule.
Yeah.
Even though I think it's kind of light right now, but still, I mean, just to.
But even sure. I think it's a good time to put the belt on Omega. He won the tournament. Go full on heel with him.
Yeah. And like John Moxley was attacked on Dynamite, and Omega showed like no sympathy for him. He just was acting like he was just trying to get out of it. So
Dynamite. Which WrestleMania was better, 17, 18, or 19? I've got to be honest, I don't know the difference between any of them.
I like 19 probably better. 19 is the one with Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle.
That was
I believe. And that was like one of the main events. So
Yeah, it was besides the
I think The Rock
Watch
and
Party,
Austin
great
was
stuff.
on that as well.
Oh, okay. When he turned, yeah.
So I like 19 pretty well.
Who will beat Darby Allin for the TNT title? I don't not
Jeez,
that I'm
hard
not
to
to
say.
not to attack Nikhil, but I don't really like those kind of questions. I don't think you should be looking at that. It's like, let's see who should be his next opponent and stuff. It's too early to think about taking the belt off.
Mm-hmm.
If Dusty was alive, would he have left WWE and joined AEW? That's an interesting question.
I think he would have.
Yeah, if he could have, I think so for sure.
And
Because
if he
he
didn't,
didn't.
He's a no good egg sucking dog.
Exactly. Well, of course, he would rather be with his kids.
Mm-hmm.
If they brought in a trios, that would have been a good guy. I mean, obviously too, because he did a lot of great work in NXT with a lot of current superstars. So
Yeah.
good guy to work with your young talent.
Yeah.
If they brought a trios title to AEW, would that be too many belts or the right thing to do? I don't like the idea of having so many belts, but I actually do think a trios title would work in AEW.
Yeah. And they're putting the Death Triad together. So, yeah, maybe they can get that started.
That'd be fun. There's a lot of trios that you could have fight for it. Your favorite TLC match? I guess the first one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thoughts on seeing some legends during the Undertaker farewell? I thought
I got in that earlier.
But yeah. Lame.
I mean, I guess it was nice that the guys came down, but like they should have let them say something.
Yeah, we just saw him walk in the ring. Do you think Ryback will join AEW? I don't think so. I don't think
possible.
he fits there, honestly. I'm not against the idea. I actually like Ryback, but I don't know. I don't see it.
I think he could fit in.
He could be a Team Taz, actually.
Yeah, I never would have thought like Jack Swagger would work there.
That's true.
But
I didn't think so.
He does work.
Yeah. I guess you could do something.
Jake
I actually
Hager.
like him, so.
Mm-hmm.
Which person from NXT would you like to see join the main roster? Well, for their sake, none of them.
Yeah, really. They always go nowhere once they do.
Mm-hmm. Almost universally. I was thinking, though, I mean, this was a long time ago, but when the Shield, if you think about it, all three of those guys are like three of the top guys in wrestling of the modern era. That's like the last successful, Inner Circle, but one of the last successful like factions that they built up. They had a great run, and then they broke up, and they actually did something with everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Nikhil. It was on Nikhil. Owl, do you think Ronda Rousey is pissed that everyone is getting pregnant but her? I'm sure she's brokenhearted about it.
Yeah.
Maybe she should get together with Dobbs and they could fulfill their dreams.
Well, that is rough for a girl. That's, you know, I mean,
agree.
I don't know. I don't feel good joking about that.
I don't either. What is Intra going to pay the What is Intra going to pay the Undertaker $1,000 to do on Cameo?
Maybe do like a nursery rhyme.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
3 blind mice.
Yeah. Her little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and away.
Isn't it pathetic?
Along came a spider, sat down beside her.
Why is he even doing this? Let's be honest. The guy's fucking loaded, and they gave him a 25-year contract.
Maybe one of his kids needs a car and he doesn't want to pay for it. I don't. Yeah,
go in there and embarrass himself and talk about Elmer Fudd and stuff.
I don't know.
Fucking idiot.
Pretty bad.
Dobbs, where do bad folks go when they die?
They go to the lake and lake of fire and fry. Is that how the song goes?
I think so.
Yeah.
Where do bad folks go? I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. Something like that. Fuck it. I think they go to the dirt. Owl, what do you make of Hannibal, who has been getting thousands in super chat money for years, just now realizing that YouTube takes a cut of it? He'd have to know. I mean, it tells it right there on the YouTube.
Yeah. eBay's changed their policies. They're just doing like where eBay's handling the payment now. It's not PayPal.
They split up.
Yeah. But yeah, they make like my payment still went through PayPal for the shipping. So
that's probably because it's probably through USPS.
Yeah. Okay.
Marty Van Buren, I do declare, what is your favorite wrestler with a fake gimmick nationality? So Yokozuna's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Mr.
Razor
Fuji.
Ramon. Mr. Fuji's a good one. Akeem, the African Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, what guests are coming up? I'm gonna try to get Dusty Wolf on the show.
Oh, cool.
Owl, did Inter find it anticlimactic that Jack was revealed to be Barty Oil by posting his time hop photo under the wrong account?
Time hop photo?
Yeah, it's I share you links. It's like 10 years ago today, 2 years ago today thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it is a little bit.
Well, I'd be pretty stupid if I was guilty of this.
What was it, like a Photoshop or something?
No, it came up with, I don't know how long ago. Let's see here. It was a picture I'd saved 5 years ago today. The Power Goat drops the Goat of Powers drops the WV on his way to the Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's just like you shared it or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you could share any photo. Don't mean you made it.
You can share pretty much anything. So.
Yeah.
So you shared it 5 years ago and it brought it up.
No, either I shared it or I saved it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it popped up, and then I shared it again today, or not today, but November 22nd.
You just have to keep the memory alive.
Yeah. It came up on my thing and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny, so I posted it. I mean, I'm not a dumbass. Don't really prove shit. It's not like I had to share it. All right. Well, there you go.
99.
Mailbag is closed.
I had fun, Jack.
I had fun as well. I don't know if we'll have a guest on next week, but we'll see. How you find out, Inter? Go over to facebook.com/group/IYH Wrestling. They'll pop up there. Subscribe here on YouTube. Hit the little bell icon, not the internet icon, but that bell icon, and you'll get notifications every time we're live or anytime we post a new show. We'll be back here on Tuesday nights. Wednesday nights, I usually do Jackie Jones Show, Falling Dynamite. I'm not going to do it this week because we're doing Without Your Head tomorrow night instead of Thursday because of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I texted my friend Trista Robinson, the co-host on Without Your Head. I was like, what? We're going to do the show Wednesday. What would be a good topic that's very Thanksgiving-y? Horror. And she replies back, how about home invasions? I was like, all right. So tune in the night before your festive meal with your family and hear us talk about home invasions.
Oh my.
Now, isn't that a pleasant topic for a Thanksgiving theme show?
I guess
home invasion film. So it'll be a good time. Get the family all around before you eat turkey and talk about home invasion.
Well, I want everybody to have a good Thanksgiving.
I do.
You have yourself a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You as well, Inch Man, and the whole Biceps family.
And I'm telling you right now, the calorie counting, it's off for Thanksgiving.
That's the way to
I'm
go. You
just
gotta have
gonna
cheat days.
Eat what I want.
Eat the turkey.
Pumpkin pie,
Eat the pumpkin. That's or
turkey.
pumpkin pie, the whipped cream,
Yeah,
gravy.
Just douse it in that. Just
The
take the
cranberry
freaking ready
sauce.
whip and just go and just go.
And then have a nice salad.
Nice salad.
Fuck that.
I ate salad for lunch today. I'm pissed at Walmart.
Really?
I did the because I was like, why bother with going to Walmart and deal with the people who just stand right in your way, and then like every turn you take, and it's just like, I'm just gonna do the pickup service. So I did that, and everything they gave me was about to expire. I was like, thanks a lot.
I'm sorry to laugh, but that is fucking shit.
Yeah, and the ice cream cones, their waffle cones that I got, they're all busted. So that I mean the milk.
How does that fit on your calories? Eating ice cream cones.
It does.
That's
I
like one of the
measure,
worst things for you, ice cream.
Yeah, I don't care. I measure out the ice cream. I put it in. I do the grams, and then I put it in the cone.
Yeah, it's like
It
just
works.
pure fat.
Yeah,
But it's good though. Ice cream is good.
you can have ice cream. It's good.
Yeah,
I eat
tons of
bad
sugar.
things. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I still eat bad things, but I don't go.
How
over
much
my
ice
calories.
cream? Like a spoon?
No, you can get like say if I have my dinner and I have 400 calories left, I eat ice cream.
Alright.
As I can get about I think it's around
Like a half a cup or
160
something. Yeah.
grams of like chocolate ice cream, and then I think you can make a cone out of that. So and then the cone is like 60 calories. So I'm sure I got it on my phone.
No, I believe you.
Oh, it's over there. But yeah, it's around that. So you can do it every now. I don't do it every day. I mean,
That's all you eat, just ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, I do look forward to it sometimes, but like, yeah. So
Yeah, Vic says I can't stand ordering pickup from Walmart. If I get any produce, it's usually overripe or about to go bad.
oh my god, like everything I got lettuce, I got milk, I got a bag of lettuce, and the salad, and it was all like within a few days before it expires, and it's like I bought a 2-gallon thing of milk.
Right. So
I had to pour it out earlier today because I let it go past 3 days of the expiration date, and I'm not. I think you're getting too close to it after that. So I just poured it out. I went and bought some new stuff. So I guess I just have to deal with people in Walmart jumping in my way and just like you ever notice like people are just totally in their own world and they just stand there and they're just like looking at something and it's just like.
I hardly ever, not because I hate Walmart. I just don't have any Walmarts near me. So I go maybe once every.
It's just like they're not aware of anybody around them. They're just like for hours, and it's like I'm trying to get right there where you're standing and social distancing, and you're just standing there like an asshole. So, anyways, I'm just.
Well, I mean, I go to the supermarket, and I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So.
It's like you're standing right in front of the
That
thing.
happened today, actually. When I went to the supermarket and they're standing right walking in and just standing there like it's like, get the fuck out of the way. I gotta get,
when I was going in today to get some more milk because my milk was expired, there's a lady behind me, and it's like she's like running to get like catch up with me. It's like we got masks on, and she has it underneath her nose, and she's running as fast. And I was just like. I just stepped aside. I was like, okay, just go by. It was just like, it's like social distancing. Have you not heard of this?
Yeah, for my cheat meal last week, Troy and I got these big ass burgers at Wendy's, which honestly was very good. But I gotta say it's fucking not cheap.
Yeah.
We each got a meal just a meal. You know, it was he got a Baconator and I got the pretzel bun burger thing
You sent me
with
a
fries
picture
and a
of that.
drink.
That
That's
looked
all
good.
we got. Nothing else. It was $25. I was like, what the fuck? Like, geez, I might as well just go to a restaurant.
Go to an actual restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get like 2 steak meals. But it was good. I'll admit it was good. But so anyway, they had you could actually eat in there. You can't eat at a lot of the places, I guess. But in the Wendy's you can, but they have it social distance. So it's like they have certain tables, you know, it says
Section off.
Yeah. It's totally fine. So we sit at a booth. There was one other person there and they were way in the corner. These 2 girls come in and they sit right behind me at the booth that says it's closed.
Yeah, really.
Like I wouldn't even sit there if it wasn't closed. And the whole place is open. Why do you go sit directly behind the person? And it's like
I've had that before. It's just like
it had a big thing on it closed. It's like
I don't understand people sometimes. It's just like I would never like if I went in a restaurant, I'd never like find the one person in the restaurant and sit right beside them, you know?
Yeah, the whole place is open, but there was us and one other person way in the corner. I have to say the drive-through was just packed because it's what most people are doing. But
yeah,
like you could have sat anywhere in the place. Like let's sit directly next to this person. And it says closed right on it.
During a national pandemic.
Right.
Well, a global pandemic.
Global pandemic.
Yeah. Let's just sit right here.
All right. Well, this is fun. I'm gonna try to wear Christmas stuff all December. It'll be exciting times, and sure.
I got my Fright Night shirt on.
Yeah, it's very Christmassy. I noticed that. I like the shirt though.
Yeah, it's a good one. Alrighty, I gotta go pee.
All right. Good night.
Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Jack, you have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You as well.
And we'll
Give
see
my
you
love
next
to your
week.
family.
Sure will.
All right.